Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about with injuries. We have a lot of bad news. We have some good news. The good news is Austin Ekeler said he fully expects to play in week 6. This is what we assumed, right? I mean, we already ranked Austin Ekeler as a top 3 running back for this week. Locked and loaded starter. We've been talking about buying him for the past few weeks now. Yeah, so, I mean, Austin Ekeler is going to absolutely crush it, and I know a lot of teams really need that Ekeler production. Now, going over to our next piece of news, this one not so good. You have James Conner getting placed in the IR. Will miss at least 4 games here, ladies and gentlemen. The next one you're looking at, you have Deontay Johnson playing in week 7. With Deontay Johnson, this is a wide receiver that I don't necessarily think is going to come out here and be a top 12 to 15 receiver. But, I mean, still, you could see a top 24 wide receiver season here. You could have Deontay Johnson as a mid to low-end wide receiver, too. And you may need it because we have another injury later on that's disgusting. Travis Kelce practices Tuesday. You're good to go. Deshaun Watson remains day-to-day. What we were told when Deshaun Watson missed back in week 4 was after the week 5 bye, Deshaun Watson would be good to go in week 6. This will be something that we need to continue to monitor. And obviously, as we saw, if Deshaun Watson does not play, nobody is startable in Cleveland. Now, with that being said, we do expect that Deshaun Watson will be good to go. And if you are looking at what Las Vegas sportsbooks are saying as well, they currently have the San Francisco 49ers only as 5-point favorites over the Cleveland Browns. And that line tells me, okay, yeah, they are expecting that Watson will be playing because obviously if it was the backup quarterback, that would be a double-digit line. Now, Campbell says the Lions feel pretty good about Amon-Ra St. Brown playing week 6, considered more probable than questionable. We talked about this last night, saying that it is very interesting to go through and buy low on Amon-Ra St. Brown when we had a ton of people coming out saying, Mason, I watched a YouTube video and some guy told me that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be missing the rest of the season. What the hell are we doing here? Okay, no, he had an abdomen injury. He missed 1 week. You're good to go. Devon Achane is going to be missing multiple weeks. Injury not considered season ending, which is very good news, very bad news, depending on the way that you look at it. And then Justin Jefferson, in the saddest news of all, will be placed on the IR. We've seen this before. We've seen instances of players getting thrown on the IR on non-competitive teams, and you would think that they were going to come back, and then they just really never do. The Minnesota Vikings are 1-4 right now with no Justin Jefferson. It's hard to imagine that they win too many games over the next 4 weeks. Say if Jefferson's coming back to a 2-7 team, so you're really going to rush himself back. Probably not, especially when you want that contract extension. And then I think that should be it for those injury updates. Of course, we still have a couple things that we are going to be looking for as we go through this live stream. I'll be keeping y'all posted. And if you have not done so already, go down there. Drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. I mean, we have live streamed every single day for 165 days in a row. Not going to miss a single day until 2024. It's our birthday today as well, so if you wanted to drop a like for that reason, feel more than welcome. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match on Underdog, plus our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, for our birthday, Underdog's hooking everybody up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard Monday night. And if you are new to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, you are also going to get a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. Underdog never gives away multiple special pick'ems in the same week. They're doing it for us for our birthday. So make sure you go ahead and take advantage of that. Promo code FLOCK, link in the live chat and description. But I think we should be able to dive into some questions here. Our first question coming out from Dale D'Antoni says, 8-team full BBR league. Trade what for Austin Ekeler? Maybe a little bit too late. We can try, though. We have Lamar, Pollard, Jacobs, Kupp, Waddle, Amon-Ra, Goddard, Amari, Hollywood. with Gibbs, Dell, Palmer on the bench. Eckler owner looking for a wide receiver. Thanks and happy birthday. Thank you so much, my man. I would trade any wide receiver that we have here for Austin Eckler. And if he needed a little bit more than that, say, hey, man, I'll give you Cooper Kupp, and we'll go through and we'll throw in another viable running back. We'll give you Jahmyr Gibbs. I'll give you a Cooper Kupp and another wide receiver in Amari Cooper. I'll give you Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Waddle. I'll give you Amon-Ra St. Brown and Amari Cooper. Keep in mind, when you are in that 8-team format, we're going to be a little bit more willing to go out there and be aggressive in our trade offers when the depth really is not going to matter too much. Okay. Now, Gavin says, so kicking some trade talk around with a league mate. He hinted that he'd be willing to trade Achane for me for Gabe Davis and AJ Dillon. I feel like I should pull the trigger. Yes, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. And yes, we will go ahead and I will trade Gabe Davis and AJ Dillon for Devon Achane. If you are looking at this, Gabe Davis is a volatile wide receiver that's a little bit touchdown dependent. If you're looking at AJ Dillon, he's not going to be startable under the circumstance that you have Aaron Jones coming back from the bye week. So I think we would trade them going over to get Devon Achane, knowing this is a running back that while, yeah, he's going to miss the next few weeks, he still should be a viable long-term play. Gnarls coming out says 10-team, 2-3. We have Allen, Bijan, Swift, Devonta, Kirk, Kelsey, Stevenson. And then on the bench, we have Judy, JSN, Javonte, Njoku, Dobbs, Gus, Ford. We got offered Eckler, Waddle, Ingram for Kelsey, Stevenson, Kirk, Dobbs, Edwards. I'm intrigued. What are your thoughts? 10-team league, guys like Dobbs, Edwards, really not going to make a difference at all. We can just take them out of this entirely. Austin Eckler, I would rather have over Travis Kelce. Jalen Waddle, I'd probably rather have over Ramondre Stevenson. And then Evan Ingram versus Christian Kirk is up to you and your overall roster. And if we're trading away Kelce, we probably want to get Evan Ingram here. So honestly, I think I would be willing to go out there and pay that price point for Austin Eckler. Keep in mind, Eckler already made it through his bye week. So you're going to get Eckler for an extra week on top of what you're going to have with Travis Kelce. Now, Tilted Hippo says, okay, Hollywood, Harris, Lamar, Jacobs for Hurts, Amari, Pierce, Mixon. Then trade Hurts, Mixon, Cooper for Herbert, Saquon, Pacheco. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Okay, if we're looking at this, going from Hollywood to Amari, give me Amari. Najee to Pierce, give me Pierce. Lamar to Hurts, give me Hurts. Jacobs to Mixon, give me Jacobs. So we're downgrading from Jacobs to Mixon to upgrade at 3 other spots. And then Hurts to Herbert, downgrade. Mixon to Saquon, upgrade. Amari to Pacheco, lateral, move up to you. I think both deals are fair and kind of up to your personal preference here. Obviously, they are massive, massive, massive trades. I typically feel uncomfortable telling people to go through and make these deals where it's like we're sending our entire starting lineup for the entire starting lineup of someone else, as you're never going to have it like as a win-win situation, right? I mean, this is really, okay, one side's going to make out like a bandit. The other side is going to be left holding the bag. We don't know which is which. I think we probably prefer the Hurts side, but it is up to you. Lee says, trade Pittman and Christian Watts for Christian Watson and Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm completely fine with you doing this. Obviously, with Devon Achane's injury, getting Jeff Wilson Jr. is definitely a viable play. Freddie says 14-team PBR double flex, 2 and 3. We have Watson, Spears, Khalil, Jefferson, Jameson, Ridley, Ertz, DJ, Puka, Stroud, Jaleel, Keaton, Watson, Gibbs, maybe DeMarcado and Osborne off the waiver wire. Who do we drop? Help us save the team. Okay, so I think Keaton Mitchell would be our first drop for DeMarcado. I mean, with Keaton Mitchell, even if he does come back healthy and even if he is a player that's going to be on, like, you have to have a lot of assumptions. 1, he makes it back healthy. 2, he comes back and he actually has a role with the Baltimore Ravens. 3, and this is the biggest assumption of all, he gets the starting role. And then 4, he has to perform with said starting role and have a large enough workload to be viable. He has to overcome a lot of barriers. DeMarcado, he just has to be the starting running back over Keontae Ingram. So I think we go ahead, we take him over Keaton Mitchell. And then in terms of picking up KJ Osborne, I don't necessarily see a play that makes a lot of sense. Losing out on both Khalil Herbert and Jameson Williams is going to be brutal in a 14-team double flex format where we are 2 and 3 and need points right now. So if you wanted to go ahead, if you wanted to see if we could send, say, Justin Jefferson and go get someone back that's going to be viable right now, like sending Justin Jefferson for A.J. Brown in that format with that team, I think would actually make some sense. Austin says, happy birthday, Mason. 5-0. Should we move Barkley, Brees, Olave for Montgomery and Kenneth Walker. Brees to Walker, give me Walker. Barkley and Olave versus Montgomery on a 5-0 team long-term full PPR. I will go Barkley and Olave over David Montgomery. So honestly, I don't think we would do this. I think we'd keep the side that we have. It's a 10-team single flex team after we trade Geno, Anthony Richardson, Montgomery, Walker, Pollard, Waddle, Smith, Waller, bench Amari, and Christian Watson. Yeah, I think we're going to keep the team as is. I think that would upgrade your team in the short term, but if you're looking at a 5-0 roster, we're more so concerned about the long term rather than short term. Doa coming out saying, happy birthday, full BBR double flex. We have Lamar Fields, Etienne, Montgomery, Jacobs, Sanders, Algier, Roshan, Chase, Godwin, Dell, JSN, Quentin Johnson, Jefferson, Laporta. Any suggestions? So typically, if we have, say, Lamar Jackson, I would always opt in to see if we could sell Laporta for Mark Andrews in return and get the Lamar and Andrews stack. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if Amon-Ra St. Brown comes in and takes some of the target volume away from Sam Laporta. And outside of that, we have a lot of running back depth. I don't necessarily think that we're looking to do anything right now. It's a very well-balanced roster. At running back, maybe if we wanted to see if we can sell Justin Fields and Chris Godwin, Justin Fields and Tank Dell, Justin Fields and, say, Quentin Johnson, and really go get any elite level wide receiver when we have Lamar Jackson, I think it could be a move that we look to do when we're already solid at QB. Now, Derek says Olave or DJ Moore in a full PPR format. So I don't know if you're asking rest of season or if you're asking just for this week. So I actually just updated my rest of season fantasy football rankings on flogfantasy.com. Let me pull this up and I'll tell you exactly where we have both these wide receivers. And I can tell you exactly where we have them for this week as well. So for this week, I have Chris Olave, wide receiver 16, and DJ Moore, wide receiver 10. Really do like the matchup that you have for DJ Moore going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, rest of season here. I have Olave, wide receiver 12, DJ Moore, wide receiver 16. I still believe in Olave in the long term as Olave continues to get healthier, as Derek Carr continues to get healthier. For this week, however, you probably prefer DJ Moore before we have that kind of clarity. Now, Keith's coming out and says 1-4, 10-team league. We have Russ, Bijan, Barkley, Olave, Ridley, Laporta, Pacheco. And then on the bench, we have Connor, Watson, Dell, Judy. We need some help. Losing James Conner does, lose a lot of the flexibility that we have. I think the main thing is obviously we need a better quarterback here. I would love to see if we can take someone like Christian Watson and sell him with Russell Wilson to go get a viable QB that we can start every week. Go get someone like Joe Burrow. But in reality, much easier said than done, right? When you lose Connor, you lose a lot of that flexibility that this team has. Now, Wingless Crib Gaming coming out says 12-team PPR. We have Hurts, Kupp, DJ Pollard, Bijan, Goddard, Brees. And then on the bench, we have Puka, JT, Kyron, Rashad White, Olave, Godwin. Any trades we should look to make. So this is a team that does have a lot of depth. Trust me, I have a lot of Dallas Goedert. I have a lot of Jalen Hurts. I really like drafting them and stacking them together. But specifically on a team where we have JT, Puka, Kyron, Rashad White, Olave, Godwin on the bench, where we are this loaded up wide receiver, we don't really have an excuse not to go out there and get that elite level quarterback if we can, my friend. So what I probably look to do is I probably look to take one of these depth players, say like, I hate to say it, but maybe Puka and Dallas Goedert and go get Kelsey, or Brees Hall and Dallas Goedert and go get Travis Kelsey if we can, when we're loaded at wide receiver and running back. Rated R Savior coming out says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. My team's 4-1, 12-team, 3 wide receiver at BBR. We have Hurts, Bijan, JT, HN, Hall, Roshan, Charbonnet. Wide receiver, we have Adrian Brown, Amari, Judy, Zay, JSN. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. Do we trade Jonathan Taylor and Jerry Judy for CeeDee Lamb? What moves should we make or should we hold? So, JT versus CeeDee Lamb. specifically on a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers, I think I still prefer Lamb. However, they're not that far off. I don't know if we want to be adding in Jerry Jeudy to get the deal done, especially where depth matters a little bit more in this format. I would actually probably look to hold still. I think this is a trade that you could possibly look to do in the long term. But if you're looking at this, I think we probably can't be selling Jonathan Taylor. One, because, I think his value is going to increase as this season goes on. And two, if you're looking at what we have with the Devon Achane injury, all of a sudden, it's going to be a little bit harder for us to go through and find that running back production, even if Roschon looks viable. I'd rather hold on to Jonathan Taylor for the time being. Once Achane comes back, then at that point, I think you can make a play. But overall, I think this team is in a very good situation. We just have to wait a little bit. So we get a JSN breakout. So we get Breece Hall continue to expand. We get JT continue to expand. And we get Achane coming back nice and healthy. I think you're in a great spot for the long term. We're 4-1. That's what we care about the long term. I think we just got to be patient. Rio says traded Olave, Pickens, Kittle for Hawkinson, Bijan. Phenomenal deal. Kittle for Hawkinson. Give me Hawkinson easily. Olave, Pickens versus Bijan. Give me Bijan easily. Isaiah says 18 PBR single flex. I'm 2 and 3. Who should we start between Walker, Kyron, Mixon, Henry, Gibbs, Olave, Kupp, Ridley, Pittman? And do we make any trades? We're going to be starting Walker, Kyron. Actually, God, we have a ton of running back depth. We're going to be starting Kenneth Walker. Then Kyron Williams versus these other running backs will be close. I have Kyron at RB10. We have Mixon at RB13. We have Henry at RB12. So we probably go Kyron Williams, but they are all in the same tier. Not going to fault you if you want to pivot elsewhere. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Kupp and Ridley. And then for the flex spot, we probably are going to end up going with Derrick Henry. And I don't think we make any deals looking at this team right now outside of knowing when we have this solid running back wide receiver. If we can go trade for an elite level quarterback or an elite level tight end, that would be advantageous. Captain America, always happy to see us, says, happy birthday. Should we drop Jameson for Osborne? No, I'm sorry. Javonte for KJ Osborne. No, you should not. I know we should try to package for an upgrade, but nobody wants him. Yeah, you're going to have to hold on to Javonte. I understand why nobody wants him right now, but ultimately, this is a running back that's not going to have like a super long-term injury. I think that you are holding for the time being. Knox says, AJ Brown, Waddle for Eckler, Lockett, or Thielen. AJ Brown to Eckler, clear upgrade. Waddle to Lockett, clear downgrade. I'd probably go ahead and take Austin Eckler, though, especially with the Mike Williams injury, where you just have the expanded role overall as a receiver. Caden says, 10-team full PPR format. We have Allen, CMC, Henry, Ridley, Debo, Kittle, Wilson. Should we trade Ridley and Henry for Kupp and Jerome Ford? Love the streams, my man. Thank you so much, my dude. Ridley to Kupp, clear upgrade. Henry to Jerome Ford, clear downgrade. If we could get a different running back outside of Jerome Ford, I'd be interested. My issue with Jerome Ford is I think he just splits this backfield in Cleveland. And what we were saying when we were saying to sell him high a few weeks back is I don't think Jerome Ford's a talented enough back to be in a committee and still be viable. So I like the idea. I think we just need a slightly better RB in return. Jacob says, no question. Happy birthday, brother. Appreciate everything you do for everybody in the vlog. Thank you so much, my man. I really, really do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us today. Now, Paulo coming out says, 10 TPBR, single flex. We have Mahomes, Hill, Ayuk, Hall, Mixon, Mostert, Achane, Robinson, Jeudy, Wilson, Hawkinson. So we have the elite quarterback. We have the elite tight end. We have great wide receivers at the top. We have Hall breaking out. We have Mostert in the flex spot. We have solid depth, but not too much value down there. Phenomenal team top to bottom. Start Hill, start Ayuk, start Hall, start Mixon, start Mostert, and then bench Brian Robinson, Jeudy, Wilson, and you're great for the long term. Steve says, we have Mostert, Pacheco, Barkley, Swift. Which 2 running backs do I start, and should we try to trade one of them? We're going to be starting the combination of DeAndre Swift and Raheem Mostert with no Devon Achane. And then I don't think we're going to be looking to sell one of these guys right now. Maybe Isaiah Pacheco can be a sell high guy for us after this week against the Denver Broncos, right? But you can't sell him beforehand. Okay. Now we have Devin coming out saying 12-team PBR. Burrow, Montgomery, Etienne. Oh, half PBR, I apologize. Diggs, Jacoby, Jacobs, Laporta. And then on the bench, we have Ford, Palmer, London, Boyd, Reynolds. Rest of season rank, Montgomery, Etienne, Jacobs. Hopefully we do not close out flockfantasy.com and I'm able to tell you what we have for these guys right now. Give me a second. I don't only want to just rank these three guys. I want to tell you exactly where we have them ranked. So let me pull up my rankings on flockfantasy.com. And as I do this, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you are going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, you're going to be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pickup, more than less than half a total yard for the game on Thursday if you're new to Underdog Fantasy. And it doesn't matter if you're new to Underdog or you've been on Underdog for years, as long as you used promo code FLOCK when you signed up, you are going to be getting a Justin Herbert special pickup for Monday night as well, more than less than half a total yard. Super happy we're able to get y'all that. Literally never get two special pickups the same week, so please make sure you take advantage. And it's my birthday today. That is the best birthday present you could give me. But looking at this right now at running back, Montgomery is my RB. 14 rest of season. Probably should be a little bit higher, to be honest. Etienne is my running back 5, and Jacobs is my running back 7. See, I probably should move Montgomery up a little bit higher. We have him as a late 3rd round pick if you redrafted today, just because I do expect that you have Jahmyr Gibbs expanding his role later in the season. Obviously, this week, I'm much higher on Montgomery. This week, David Montgomery is my RB 8. And then you're saying, would you rather keep a running back for Kupp or Ford Myers for Waddle to keep our 3 RBs? So I'm assuming you're asking, would we rather trade one of these running backs for Cooper Kupp? I would go ahead and I'd send David Montgomery for Kupp if we could. And I would also trade Ford and Myers for Waddle. I think either deal is fine. I'd probably rather get Kupp if we can, though. Mike says, happy birthday again, brother. Thank you. Any moves? 4-1 PBR 12-team league. We have Lawrence, Pollard, James Cook, Ramondre, Ford, Diggs, Puka, Addison, Pickens, Pittman, Higgins, Goddard. Also, how are your best ball teams doing? Best ball teams are doing great. I haven't checked as much tournament by tournament. It's just a lot easier to just track Best Ball Mania. Best Ball Mania, I think last time we checked, we had about 29 to 30 teams advancing. Keep in mind, we did Max Center. We had 150, but still. And then looking at this team, I think you're in a really good spot. I mean, it would be nice if we could still go and sell Ford, but it's probably not as possible. I think now what we're probably looking to do is see if we can take, say, George Pickens and send Pickens with Lawrence to see if we can get to a quarterback like Lamar when we have this much depth and Addison looks viable for us now. And we have Dallas Goedert coming back out of the bye. I think that could be interesting. Boomer coming out says, start 2, a receiver and a flex. Thielen, Waddle, Mostert. Mostert must start, guy. We're going to be going with Waddle and Mostert here, my friend. Everybody, please make sure you start Mostert when you have no Devon Achane. He's like the best guy. I mean, one of the best guys you could go with. Now, Lewis coming out saying, PBR, 2 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and 3 flexes. So wide receiver depth actually matters. 8-team league, depth's not going to be too hard to come by. Our record's 4-1. We have Goff, Allen, Jacoby, Kupp, Jefferson, Jacob, Saquon, Achane, Waller, Najee, Reynolds, with Jefferson and Achane injured. What in the world do I do? I hate to say this, and I know it's the most boring advice possible, and obviously I wish I had something that could solve your situation and just be super easy. In reality, you're 4-1, you know. Achane's going to be out a couple weeks. Hopefully you get Jefferson back in 5. If you were 1-4, I would say it's time to panic. We can't afford to lose any weeks at all if you're 1-4. Like it's win or go home pretty much. But being 4-1, we can focus a little bit more on the long-term upside. So I probably just look to hold this team as is, play the waiver wire to get short-term fill-ins. While we are losing out on Jefferson, we were 4-1 and we had no Kupp at the beginning of the season. Now we'll have Kupp going forward. So I think you're in a good spot. You just need to be a little bit patient. Even if we go from winning 80% of our weeks down to only 50% of our weeks, Then in 4 weeks, we get these guys coming back and we're 6-3. We should be fine. Now, Foster coming out says 4-1, 10-team PBR. We had Hurts, Moss, Jacobs, Kupp, Puka, Ertz, Roshan, Jefferson, Watson, Javonte. Phil, we get running back and worried about Jefferson. Any moves that we should make? If Jefferson was healthy, then at that point, I'd say, you know what, man? We have enough wide receiver depth. Let's go out there and let's sell one of these wide receivers like Puka. And let's go get a running back that is going to help us right now. However, if you're in a situation where instead we're losing out on Jefferson, all of a sudden, that wide receiver depth matters a whole lot more. It's not as expendable and it's not as simple. Let's go out there and let's trade for an RB. I think we just, honestly, similar to the other team, I hate to say it, but these like teams that you're 4-1, 5-0, you don't really have too many other options on a Justin Jefferson team other than just remain patient and hope that he's not out too long. Now, Coop's coming out saying 12-team PBR 3-2. We have Cousins, Ridley, Amari, Coop, Swift, Hall, Andrews, Puka. And then on the bench, we have Pierce, McLaurin, Pitts, Spears, Dell. Today, we traded Puka, Pitts, and Cousins for Amon-Ra and Lamar. Oh, great deal. Cousins to Lamar, upgrade. Puka to Amon-Ra, upgrade. We traded Pitts to get it done. A phenomenal deal. Literally, when you listed out that, I was like, okay, we're going to sell Kyle Pitts with this team. And literally, that's exactly what we did. RM coming out saying, Happy BR, Stroud, Henry, James Cook, HN, Ford, Charbonnet, Warren, Spears, Debo, Waddle, Olave, Gabe, Ingram, Pitts, picking up Purdy. How is the team? This is a really strong squad right now. I wish we had a little bit more depth where we could go out there and trade for a better QB. The issue is, as we go into the bye weeks, losing Devon Achane, we're probably in a spot where we need to be holding on to these depth running backs. And it'll be much harder to go through and like send James Cook and CJ Stroud for a quarterback upgrade. Maybe something that we wanted to do in the long term. In the short term, however, we're probably going to have to wait until we get Achane back in. Okay. Victor says, do I trade Pacheco, Lamb, Logan Thomas for St. Brown, Josh Jacobs, and Deontay Foreman? Lamb to Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Probably want St. Brown. Pacheco to Jacobs. Give me Jacobs. Logan Thomas, Deontay Foreman. Who cares? I think we are going to go St. Brown and Josh Jacobs. Dog Pound coming out says 12-team PBR. We have Cousins, Chase, Amon-Ra, Etienne, Montgomery, Kelsey, Addison. Any changes? Not with the skill positional guys. I do think that would be an interesting spot if we could go out there and afford a quarterback upgrade by sending a depth wide receiver like Hollywood and Kirk Cousins to go get Lamar. I'd really like that, especially with the Cousins injury. Now, Michael says trade Evans for Jefferson if we're 4-1. If you're 4-1, yes, Evans, trading away Evans is not going to lose you your season. And obviously, we are chasing the long-term upside in that case. Okay. Now, Jay Mills says, happy birthday, sit 1, play 2. Lamb, Kyron, Jordan, Addison. We are going to play Lamb and Kyron, sit Jordan, Addison, even if we are really excited about Addison, of course. Harsh says, Jefferson for DJ Moore in a 12-team PBR format. Vikings don't have any incentive to bring him back. We have Ridley, Pittman, Thielen, Judy, Watson, Wandale, and Jameson. Oh, my gosh. I would say it's wildly dependent on your team. If you are 1-4 and you need points right now, I understand trading Justin Jefferson for DJ Moore. If you're 4-1, if you're 5-0 and you're saying, Mason, I'm just chasing the long-term upside, I completely understand trading DJ Moore for Justin Jefferson. So I don't know, my man. It's a very interesting call. Jaden says Fields, Kyron, HN, Lamb, AJ, Mark, Godwin, 1-4. Any changes? I don't really see any sell-high guys here, obviously, without seeing the bench. It's really hard to know like what we should be doing from a construction standpoint. Seth says Montgomery and Sutton for Mixon and P. Ryan. Montgomery to Mixon, Lateral move, kind of up to you. Short term, probably give me Montgomery. Long term, as Burrow gets better, Mixon's more appealing. Sutton to P. Ryan, who cares? Honestly, fair deal, up to you. Jackson says, should I do this trade in an 8-team Superflex Dynasty League? We give Lamb and Richardson for Jefferson and Hawkinson. Probably not. If it was a one quarterback dynasty format, then hell yes, super flex probably would be a little bit tougher. Shane says, Pollard to Walker rest of season. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. And I mean, we did just rank these guys like almost back to back in our rest of season rankings on flockfantasy.com. I think we are still going to go Pollard for the time being in that full PPR league. Okay. Rob says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you. 1-4, 12-team PPR. Need of a running back. I have the first waiver wire pickup. We have Gibbs, Connor, Gus. Who should I be targeting as my waiver wire pickup this week? Foreman, DeMercado, Justice Hill available. I think we have to go with the Arizona running back. I mean, I don't want to say that he is like the easiest pickup in the world, but in terms of Foreman, we can safely say, okay, well, Roschon's probably going to play over him, or at least Roschon's going to have a very large role. And we can safely say that. With Justice Hill, we know Gus Edwards is going to have a role at the minimum. We know that's going to happen. If you're going to be looking at what we have when it comes to the Arizona backfield, Keontae Ingram may have a role. Keontae Ingram may even be the guy. We don't know. But it's also an outside chance that DeMercado is just a straight up workhorse. Keontae Ingram's not involved at all. So yeah, I think we take the gamble with the Arizona back. Now, Fishing Bass says 8-team at BBR double flex. We have Allen, Etienne, Swift, Henry, Achane, Mixon, Madison, Ford, Godwin, Wilson, Hopkins, Palmer, Ferguson, trade Wilson, Achane, Ferguson. Receive Andrews and Ramadre. Thanks, my son. Thank you, my man. So Zach Wilson to Ramadre, probably give me Zach Wilson. Achane and Ferguson to receive Mark Andrews. Obviously, if Achane was healthy, we'd probably say Achane. But specifically in an 8-team league, you probably want to go ahead and in an 8-team league, you probably want to take Mark Andrews where the elite level tight end is incentivized. Now, Jacob says standard league, Lamar, James Cook, Taylor, Achane, Jeff Wilson, Diggs, Thielen, Lockett. Tight end, we have Ferguson, Kincaid, can start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, and 1 tight ends. Okay. Very strong team now that we're getting Taylor back. Obviously, it sucks that we're losing Achane. We don't have a lot of wide receiver depth either to go through and make a play. I think we sit on our hands and we just stay flexible here. I do really hope that we get a breakout from Kincaid later on in the season. It does look like a little less and less likely at this point. Debris says 3-2, happy BR, 10-team league. Mahomes, St. Brown, Keenan, Achane, Saquon, Gabe Davis, Michael Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Mims, White, Roschon. Got off for Jefferson for Amon-Ra St. Brown or Keenan. No. I know we're 3-2. Maybe we can think a little bit long term, but 3-2 roster, we still need points right now, right? So we still need points right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Keenan Allen could both project to be top 5 running backs rest of season, especially Keenan Allen. We also have the Achane injury. We also have the Saquon injury. So no, you can't go through and trade for Jefferson there. Starry says trade Saquon and a wide receiver 2 for Adams. We have Walker and Brees. If it is a format where depth does not matter and you can send like Saquon and Adam Thielen for Devontae Adams, you probably want to do it. Leon says Jefferson, Etienne, Kittle for Kelsey, Debo, and Jaleel. Jefferson to Kelsey, give me Kelsey. Etienne to Debo, give me Etienne. Kittle to Jaleel, give me Kittle. I don't know. That's a tough one. Really depends if you need production now or the long term. The Jefferson trades are so difficult to know what side we want without seeing the exact situation that we are in. Because I think it is so dependent on your exact situation. Joey says, happy birthday, bro. Thank you, my man. 3-2 in 4th place, 14-team double flex. We have Allen, DJ, Pickens, Eckler, Mixon, Hawkinson, Woods, Jameson, Reed, Kyler, Warren. Any moves was offered Flowers and Pacheco for Joe Mixon. I think this is the perfect example of a trade that we can look at for your format in comparison to another one. So I know a lot of people here are playing and say that 10-team league where you start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. And in that kind of format, you have no business in going through and selling Joe Mixon to get back Pacheco and Zay Flowers, right? You just want the best player. You want to keep Mixon. However, in a 14-team double flex format where options on the waiver wire will be worse and at the same time you have to go deeper in that starting lineup, I think that it actually makes a lot of sense to go through and trade away Joe Mixon for Zay Flowers and Isaiah Pacheco here, my man. And great team. Way to be 3-2 on a 14-team league where we had the Eckler injury. Now, Kostic says 12-team PPR. Running backs are Bijan, Etienne, Moss, Charbonnet. Receivers are Ridley, Keenan, Addison, Gabe Davis. Just traded Keenan and Moss for Eckler and Watson. Great deal. Great deal. I think Keenan's going to crush. I think Eckler's going to crush. I think it's harder to come by a running back. And yeah, I think Zach Moss is going to shrink as the season goes on. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 400 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this stream. Help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, for our birthday, which is today, this is the best birthday present you could give me. Underdog hooked up everybody with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard, going up against the Dallas Cowboys this week. And if you're new to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, on top of that, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard as well. So please make sure you take advantage of that. Find that link in the live chat and in the description. Now, Roy says Sanders for Ingram. Sanders is RB4 and Kincaid is tight end 1. Completely fine if you wanted to make this deal. Ethan says 12-team single flex full PPR. Trade Kyron, Kamara, Lawrence for Herbert and Eckler. Lawrence to Herbert, give me Herbert. Kyron and Kamara to Eckler, give me Eckler. Yeah, and great team. Pairing up Bijan and Eckler is nasty. Gloom says, I have JT and Moss. Who do we start this week? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. We did rank these guys close together. I put JT at 21 this week. Zach Moss at 23. I do think that we're going to go JT. I still expect Zach Moss to have a role this week, and I expect JT to just continue to separate himself as the season goes on. Now, Keith says, should I trade Wilson and Madison for Amon-Ra St. Brown? I think so. I mean, if you are looking at what you have with Alexander Madison, he is splitting the backfields with Cam Akers. I don't think he's good enough to be a committee. I don't think he's good enough to be viable as a committee back, right? In particular. Now, Pete coming out says, 10-team, happy BR League. We have Tua, Burrow, Jefferson, Etienne, Olave, Waddle, Hawkinson, Moss, Charbonnet, JSN, Lockett, Ramondre. Any moves? Should we target Eckler? It's a keeper league. I would love to target Eckler if you can. Like if you could send, say, like Etienne and Moss, Etienne and Charbonnet, Etienne and Lockett, Etienne, JSN, Etienne and Ramondre, or HN with any of those guys, or you go try to send Tua and a piece like Ramondre. I mean, that would be an absolute no-brainer if we could somehow do it. It's a very well-balanced format. I mean, a very well-balanced team. As we have Joe Burrow continuing to show us that he is good to go, then at that point, you probably are good to go ahead and throw Tua on the trade block. But I don't want to do so until we know for sure that Burrow is fully healthy. And I would love to trade for Eckler if we can. Now, Trust Law coming out says 12-team PBR double flex. Always happy to see it, my man. We have Hurts, Barkley, Hall, Keenan, Lamb, AJ, Addison, Ingram, bench. Is Najee, Jaleel, Elijah, Dotson. Any moves? And then JT or Cooks rest of season. We're going to go JT easily there, my man. And then a really strong team. Getting Keenan Allen back from the bye. Having the Breece Hall breakout. I think you have a great squad overall. The only thing that I would say is if we could sell like Addison for Devonta Smith, I think it makes sense on a Jalen Hurts team so we could go through and we could stack him for the long term. And I don't think I really have anything else for you. I mean, if you could sell, say, Breece Hall for ETN, I'd like to do that as well. Now, Pyrotech Boys coming out and says DJ Moore and Kyren for Kelsey, or Puka and Kyren for Kelsey. We have Jamar, Ayuk, Puka, DJ Moore, Thielen, JT, HN, Mixon, Kyren. Who's better rest of season between Ayuk, Moore, and Puka? If you look at our rest of season rankings, we're going to have all of these guys pretty much back to back to back. So it really is up to you in this range, which you already are kind of seeing with the trades you're offering. If this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, especially if there are only 10 teams in said league, I think you probably go ahead and make that move. Right? Now, on the other hand, if it's like a 12, 14 team format, especially if multiple flexes with the Devon HN injury, it's probably going to be tougher to get away with. I think it really does depend on your format there, but it looks like a loaded team. So I would assume that it's not like that 12 team double flex or 14 team league. So now our next one's coming out from Nick says, 10-team PPR single flex. We have Lawrence, Kyren, Mixon, White, Tyreek, Cup, CD, Laporta, Anthony Richardson, Hollywood Spears, Zay. Any moves? Really appreciate you, my man. I mean, what can we do with this team? The only thing I'd say is if you could find a way to sell like Hollywood and Mixon and go get an upgraded running back, or like Hollywood and Lawrence and go get an upgraded quarterback and get to like Trevor Lawrence, let's do it. But I'm assuming in like a 10-team single flex format that nobody's going to be too excited to make that deal with you. If you can pull it off, let's send it. Taco coming out saying 12-team PPR. We have Hurts, Eckler, Breece, Lockett, Osborne, Goddard, Rashad White. And then on the bench, we have Jefferson, Ford, Warren, Deontay. Got offered Debo, DK, Madison for Jefferson, Lockett, Ford. Trying to get Mostert instead of Madison. What should we do? So Jefferson to Debo, still a downgrade. Lockett to DK, slight upgrade. I don't think it's a super big deal. Ford to Madison, about the same range. Honestly, my man, I mean, you have a ton of downside when it comes to Justin Jefferson. And that if you are looking at Justin Jefferson, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is someone that just doesn't come back and you really get nothing from him. However, with that being said, like, if we're going through and selling him for Debo Samuel here, how much of a win is it really, you know? Because I don't necessarily think those secondary pieces make a big difference one way or another. The fundamental trade is you're sending like Jefferson for Debo Samuel. I think you're raising your floor with it, but you're lowering your ceiling in the long term. I could see it being a deal that I make if I'm 1-4, if I'm 0-5, and I need points right now. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just living in the past and I should just accept the fact that Jefferson's nothing now. Charles says, should we trade away Smith? And if so, for who? Hell to the no, my man. I mean, Devonta Smith is a buy low candidate, not a player looking to sell. You want to get nearly enough. Okay. Now, Matthew says, 12-team full BBR single flex 3-2. We have Fields, Mostert, Pacheco, Barkley, Javonte, Lamb, Thielen, Dobbs, Amon-Ra, Andrews. Any moves? Got offered A.J. Brown for Barkley and, Amari. So, single flex format, a little bit more inclined to go get the best player. I don't necessarily think this is a massive win by any means. I mean, if you are looking at this, like Saquon Barkley is very worrisome based off the offense he's playing in, but still. If we could go make this deal for like Tyreek Hill, if we could make it for Jamar Chase, I think it's a no-brainer. But going back to the question asking if we should like sell Devonta Smith, I mean, y'all know, like back at the beginning of the season, we had AJ Brown as a buy low candidate. We were just looking at the fact that you're going to have naturally a lot of volatility here between AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. They are kind of going to be going back and forth, back and forth. I don't necessarily think that we should be thinking like all of a sudden that AJ Brown's going to be a top 5 wide receiver every single week. You still clearly rather have AJ Brown over Devonta Smith, like we said at the beginning of the season. We just have to take the fact that you're going to have some ups, some downs. I don't know. I probably don't do that. Now, Jesse says, Diggs, Olave, Kittle. For Hawkinson, Hurts, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, what are your thoughts? Diggs to St. Brown, downgrade. Kittle to Hawkinson, upgrade. Olave to Hurts. Probably want Hurts. I think you probably keep the best player. Probably keep Stephon Diggs, but it is a fair deal. Fair deal. And going back to this deal, I probably do it if it's Stephon Diggs, not A.J. Brown. And I love A.J. Brown. It's just like buying A.J. Brown now is not necessarily the time to be doing so. Like, you're going to have that volatility between these guys. LeBron coming out says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. 12-team full PPR format where we have Chase, Waddle, Madison, Najee. Good offered Madison for Rashad and Palmer. Do we accept? I'd rather have Rashad White over Alexander Madison in a full PPR format. At least Rashad White gets everything in his backfield. Prohibit, always happy to see us, says, should we trade DJ Moore and Pierce for Jefferson? We're 4-1. We have depth. I would say if you're 4-1, I'd probably trade DJ Moore for Justin Jefferson straight up. But to add to DJ Moore, when you have such a low floor and the downside is Jefferson doesn't play through the rest of the year, that's probably a little too much. If we were going to do it, it's just DJ Moore straight up. Blake says 12-team PBR 5-0. We have Lamar, Moss, Herbert, Diggs, Wilson, Andrews, Kirk, Lockett. Should I trade Diggs for Montgomery and Swift? We are thinking long-term here. I mean, I understand running back's going to suck now that we have no Moss, no Herbert. However, I think we're paying too much in a full PPR format. I'm sorry to say it, but especially on a 5-0 team where it's not like we need points right now. It's not like we need to optimize for this week. I think we play the waiver wire and we see if we can solve the issue that way. Lane says 10-team, 3 wide receiver double flex. We have CMC, Kyron, DJ Moore, St. Brown, Puka, Andrews, flex, Montgomery, Lockett. On the bench, we have MT, Rice, Ramondre, London, JSN. Any moves? Not necessarily. We're just going to be sitting here waiting until we get the long-term upside of JSN playing out. Double flex league. This depth matters a little bit more. Obviously, it'd be nice if we can go back into time machine and sell Ramondre, but I wasn't smart enough to say so back then, so can't help you now. Hospital Mike says, happy birthday. Would you trade Olave for Waddle rest of season? Appreciate you, my man. I would rather have Olave over Waddle rest of season in a full PPR format. I like both guys, but I'd rather have Olave. Carlos says 12-team PPR, single flex. We have Allen, Diggs, Godwin, Javonte, JT, Andrews, Hopkins. And then on the bench, we have Robinson, Khalil, JSN. Offered Olave for Brian Robinson and Hopkins. Should we take it? I can counter and ask for Mixon and Olave. If we could get Mixon and Olave, it would be an absolute no-brainer. I may even do just Olave, to be honest with you. I think it's a fair deal as is. What I would do is I would go, hey, man, here's the deal that I would do, and then send him the same one with Mixon in it, but don't decline the one he offered you. And then if he says no, then you can reevaluate. But Baldur says, happy birthday and thanks for the content. Thank you, my man. It is my first league, and I'm learning fast with the help. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for being a member of the flock. YB Creations, always happy to see us, says 18 PBR 3-2. We have Hurts, Bijan, Jacobs, AJ Brown, DK, Kittle, Godwin, and then on the bench we have Jefferson, Judy, Zach, Tajee, Watson, Algier. Any trades? Should we hold Jefferson? Yes, we should hold Jefferson when we already have the depth. I mean, we're starting Godwin. Is that really that bad? No, we're going to be fine. I don't think we do anything. If you could pivot off of Kittle and send a small piece such as like Tyler Algier or Watson with Kittle and go get to Hawkinson, especially with the Jefferson injury, I think that'd make a lot of sense, but you're chilling. Obviously, it sucks to have the Jefferson injury. I don't think you panic. Pressure says, I have 65 fab. Who should I put it on and how much? I have literally zero information on this, my man. I do not know the amount of teams that are in your league. I do not know the amount of roster spots. I do not know the player you're dropping. I do not know the player you're trying to pick up. I don't know what the starting fab budget actually is. That's like going, I am playing fantasy football. What should I do? If anybody answers that question for you, my man, straight up with that information, they're being disingenuous or they do not know what they're talking about. I mean, it's impossible to answer that with the information you gave me. Manoa says, would you trade Ridley for Swift and Scary Terry? I think you can if you would like. I mean, just because of Swift looks like he has a locked and loaded RB1 you can start every week. CJ Max says, should we trade Barkley for Breece Hall and Sam Laporta? We have Madison, Ford, Achane, and Goddard. Happy BR here every night, and I appreciate you. Appreciate you, my man. Barkley to Breece Hall. I mean, we have Hall ranked over Barkley this week. Barkley has a horrible matchup going up against Buffalo. Obviously, it's just such a bad offense. But Breece Hall is in a horrendous offense as well. Sam Laporta is an upgrade over Goddard, but with St. Brown coming in, I don't know how much of an upgrade he actually is. So I think it's a fair deal, and I think it's up to you. I think it is a fair deal and up to you. Connor says, would you trade Mixon for Breece Hall? I just need to keep my rest of season rankings up so I can tell you exactly where these guys are. Let me go ahead and pull up flockfantasy.com real quick, ladies and gentlemen. And as I pull up flockfantasy.com, let me remind you, go down there, hit that like button. Looks like less than 10% of y'all have dropped a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick of more than less than half a total yard for Thursday night. And because it's our birthday, Underdog hooked up everybody who uses promo code FLOCK also this week with a Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard. Super happy we're able to get you all that, so please make sure you take advantage. Now, Mixon for Breece Hall. If I'm looking at this right now, I have Hall as our RB10 rest of season, and I have Mixon as our RB15 rest of season, just to let you know where these guys are. League is Bad says 5-0, 10-team PBR. We have Allen, Montgomery, Henry, Spears, Sanders, Chase, Allen, Amari, Pittman, Watson, Davis, JSN, Ferguson, Frymuth. What moves should we look to make? Okay. 5-0, we are thinking long-term here. I don't think we have to do this, but it's something that we can at least explore the possibility of. We could, see if we could send like Miles Sanders and Tajee Spears and go get Devon Achane. If that owner needs production right now, possibly, just possibly they make the deal. And 2, if we could go through and send like Amari or Pittman and get in return Justin Jefferson on a 5-0, 10-team league. I think that could make sense if we're just shooting for long-term upside. Kevin says 10-team 2 and 3 super flex. We have Mahomes, Herbert, Mixon, JT, Saquon, DJ Collins, Flowers, Deontay. We sent Keenan and JSN for Moore and Saquon. Don't necessarily think that's the best deal in the world. I just want to applaud saying we're 2 and 3 in a league where we had no JT and the Deontay Johnson injury. And we drafted a rookie wide receiver in Flowers. And we had Justin Herbert go through his bye week already. Great squad, great team going into the future. We stayed alive with these injuries, and now that we are getting these guys back, I think it'll be in a great spot going forward. I'm Lazy says, full PBR, we have Etienne Hall. Should we trade Hall for Pollard? Yes, I definitely would rather have Pollard over Hall. BP Trade says 20-team league. We have Lamar, Jefferson, Andrews, AJ Dillon, Najee Harris. We are 1 and 4. If you're 1 and 4 in a 20-team league where waiver wire options are going to be horrendous, you have to trade Jefferson. You have to get someone that's going to play right now. Like, obviously, it's so dependent on your situation. I ranked Jefferson in our updated rest of season rankings on flockfantasy.com at 10. Guys that I had directly ahead of him that I would love to trade him for. St. Brown, Lamb, Cup, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen. If you could somehow trade Justin Jefferson on a 1 and 4 roster for any of those guys, it'd be a no-brainer. Remy says, happy birthday, Mason. 12-team Happy BR format. 5-0. We have Watson, Diggs, Devonta Smith, Breece Hall, Jerome Ford, Kelsey, Wilson. And then on the bench, you have Stevenson, Watson, JSN, Jefferson Jr. Any moves or trades you would suggest? By the way, I won $100 on the Mark Andrews Underdog Challenge. That is awesome, my man. Super happy to hear it. And what was the Mark Andrews Underdog Challenge? Did I miss something? 5-0 team. We're thinking long-term. We are already built around some of these long-term options like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, if we could go through, if we could send, say, like Devonta Smith and go get Jefferson on a 5-0 team, I think that would make sense for the long-term upside. But can y'all let me know in the live chat right now, what was the $100 Mark Andrews challenge? Because I saw someone else saying they won $100 with Mark Andrews on Underdog, and I thought they just chose his regular pick'em, but I'm confused. Okay. Oh, do you mean you won 10K? Because I know Underdog's giving away $10,000 to 10 people every Sunday, and it was Mark Andrews this week. If you won 10K on Sunday, my man, that is phenomenal. Yeah. Remy says, no, they changed it this week. Oh, did they change it to like 1,000? I mean, 100 people get, oh, what would it be? 1,000 people get $100? Regardless, if you want $100, that is awesome, my man. Super, super happy to hear that. But I'm actually going to have to swing this around to the other page real quick. I did not see that they did that. Okay. So I saw some other people in our comment section saying that they won $100 on Underdog from the Mark Andrews thing. And I was just a little bit confused. Okay. So now our next question coming out from, I believe, Ethan, who says, 10-team full BBR. We have Stroud, Kyron, Jacobs, Chase, Allen, Puka, Henry, Akers, Ford, Gibbs, Cooper, Hopkins, Judy, Jameson. Any moves? 10-team league, depth's not going to matter as much. We don't have a lot of depth. We're already loaded up at the very top of the lineup. So honestly, nope. No moves. Great team. If you would have asked me earlier this season, I would have said, let's go through and let's trade Puka for Waddle or Olave, but looks like I'm an idiot. So thank God we did not do that. Now, Brian says, happy birthday. Redraft single flex league, 12-team PBR 3-2. We have Pollard, Mostert, Montgomery, JT, Akers, Kupp, Amari, Sutton. Any moves to make for the long term? I don't think so. You're in a really comfortable spot, especially as you have the Achane injury. Now that you have a Mostert as an extremely viable running back. If you now wanted to send Mostert and go get like an elite level QB, since we have all this RB production, that'd be advantageous. But I mean, hell, we're 3-2 and we had no Kupp, no JT. This team's only going to get better. Hennessy Dirt coming out says 10-team full BBR, start 1 at the flex. Amari Flowers or Romeo Dobbs. We will go Amari Cooper, my friend, even in a tough matchup, assuming Watson plays. Now, Hayden says, please help in a 10-team 1-4 format. I'm loaded after some recent trades, but I have the highest points against and barely lose every week. It's a 3-wide receiver, 1 flex league. We have Hurts, Kyron, Saquon, Swift, Walker, Diggs, Lamb, AJ Olave, Watson, Terry. Okay, yeah, we have a ton of production here. Great team. I mean, 3-wide receiver league, depth matters a little bit more, but this starting lineup is Diggs, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Walker, Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't know what you would do there if you were to make a trade. I mean, that team can afford an elite level tight end if we have to start at tight ends. Oh, no, it's a double flex, so we can actually just put in 2 wide receivers. Great team, great construction. You'll be good going forward. Now, Crypto Raptor coming out says, 12-team PPR, 1-4 super flex. We have Lamar, CMC, Kamara, JT Wilson, Puka, Andrews, Downs, Cook, Hubbard, Mason, Mitchell, Mims, Jeff Wilson Jr. What do we do to save the team? Okay. So it makes sense. That we will be better going forward than we have been, just getting these running backs back in. We have CMC, Kamara, JT to play every week now. I don't see who our other quarterback is unless you accidentally let him off. If we don't have a viable QB2, I'd love to send one of the running backs like Kamara and get an upgraded QB2 unless I'm missing something. But I'll be back in 1 second. Original. Okay, I got to tell y'all what happened here. So we moved into the house a couple months back, and my girlfriend wanted this like guy's painting or whatever, and it was $900. I was like, there's no way in hell we're spending $900 on a painting. And then she begged and begged and begged. I was like, no, we cannot do it. Can't spend $900 on a painting. She was like, it's a good investment. I was like, no, you know nothing about investing into art. Who are we to ever think we could invest into art? Blah, blah, blah. Then all his paintings get destroyed in the Maui fires. Then he dies. And I just reached out for our anniversary to see if I could buy that painting for $900. And there was only the broker of it said, oh, okay, well, you have to inquire about the price. And back then it was $900, and I just inquired about it now. It was $35,000. So looks like we should have bought it a couple months ago. So it looks like we are no longer getting that painting now. Would have been a good anniversary gift, but there that goes. But now let's go over to our next question. Coming out from David, says 12-team full BBR single flex. Tua, Tyreek Wilson, DK Pollard, Brees, Hogginson, Kyron Sanders, Judy, Dell, Atwell, and Jalen Warren. Any suggestions? Great team, very well balanced team. We have a lot of running back depth. I mean, if you could go to a team that like lost Nick Chubb and really needs an RB and send him Kyron Williams and Garrett Wilson and go get an elite level wide receiver, go get someone like the Stephon Diggs range, I think that could make sense. And yeah, I mean, is that not the craziest thing ever? I felt like that was so crazy. Okay, so now our next question coming out from, I believe, Manoa says, 2 and 3, 10-team BBR. We have Herbert, Saquon, Brian Robinson, Lamb, Waddle, Ridley, Laporta. And then on the bench, Jameson, Ford, Warren, JSN. Any potential moves? Is it time to panic? Happy birthday, my man. Thank you so much. I mean, time to panic on Saquon with how bad this offense looks. The reality is everybody's panicking, though, so I don't know if we can sell him. I mean, honestly, I think we just kind of ride it out. If you could send off Saquon Barkley and go get another running back that you're not worried about right now, go send Saquon and get someone like Jacobs. Probably would be a viable move with how bad the offense is. I just don't know if it's possible. Now, Roberto says 14-team BBR single flex. We have Lamar, Jacobs, Eckler, Nico, Ayuk, Ingram, Walker. And then on the bench, we have Charbonnet, Addison, Rice, Tajee. Any tips or moves? Okay. Not necessarily. Really nice that we have Addison for this team expanding his role. I mean, since it's a 14-team format, depth's going to be a little bit harder to come by as well. It's always advantageous to see if we can go get like Zay Flowers or Andrews to pair up with Lamar, but I don't see an easy way to do that there. Now, Cranbo coming out says 1-4 Dynasty sell Andrews. We have Laporta for the future. Oh yeah, definitely. If you're 1-4 Dynasty, burning it down, go sell Mark Andrews. Colin coming out saying PBR 12-team league 1-4 injury got me killed this week. We have Richardson, Watson, Jefferson, Higgins, MT, Downs, Jameson, Etienne, Walker, Spears, DeMarcado. Tight end is Ferguson. Any trade ideas? What do we do with Jefferson? Yeah, 1-4, that's the thing. You have to go through and you have to sell Jefferson. Like, honestly, throw in Anthony Richardson with him. Go sell these players that have the long-term upside, but aren't going to give you production in the short term. So we can just stay alive, because that's the name of the game if you are 1-4. If you could sell like Anthony Richardson and Justin Jefferson to get to any of the elite level wide receivers, like somehow get to Tyreek, somehow get to Chase, Diggs, Adams, maybe even Kupp, maybe even Keenan, maybe even A.J. Brown, I think that would be what we're looking to do on a 1-4 roster. Because you could see a 5-0 team wanting to make that play, right? Now, John coming out says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. 12-team PBR 4-1. We have Hurts, Etienne, Javonte, Thielen, Sutton, Goddard, Downs, Stroud, Njoku, JSN, Quentin Johnston, with Jefferson, Connor hurt now. 4-1. We can wait for the long-term upside of Jefferson. Bids on KJ and DeMarco. Any moves or trades? Appreciate it, my man. I appreciate you. Honestly, because we are 4-1, we're not going to be looking to do too much here. I mean, if you wanted to get some additional wide receiver depth, if you wanted to send like CJ Stroud and Josh Downs and just go get someone like the Chris Godwin range to get someone that's playable, I think we could do that. Randy coming out, thank you, my man, says, happy birthday. Also, if Travis Kelce is out, is T Swift doubtful for Thursday night's game? I was thinking about this. And I don't want to turn this into a Taylor Swift discussion, because I'm sure nobody here wants to hear it. But does she not have something better to do than go to a game every single week? Like, I feel like I was assuming like, okay, this is going to be a one-time thing for the Chiefs. Maybe again once in the playoffs. Is it just like every Chiefs game that's going to happen now? But thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you. I think Travis Kelce will be playing. And Jason coming out saying, 12-team non-PBR format. 2-3, we have Goff, CMC, Etienne, Amon-Ra, London, Dobbs, Komet, and then on the bench we have Javonte, Achane, Charbonnet, Sutton. What moves are we going to look to make? Non-PBR format, building around running backs, a little more important. We have a couple of running backs that are extremely viable. God, I'm an idiot. Wide receivers garbage here. If we could sell like Javonte Williams and Drake London and go get a wide receiver in the Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave range, it's a no-brainer. I think it would be interesting, though. And I am answering Super Chats. We're going in order right now, answering Super Chats. That's what this page is. The Game Makers coming out says 10-team PBR 1-4. We have Burrow, Goff, Montgomery, Pollard, Walker, Chase, Olave, Palmer, Sutton, Reynolds, Laporta, Waller. Any changes? Happy birthday, my guy. Thank you, my dude. I mean, here, if you're looking at this team, nice to have that long-term upside of Burrow maybe coming together right now. I mean, really the only thing is, if we have Laporta and Waller, let's see if we can sell one of these tight ends. Let's see if we can go get an upgrade at the flex spot. Like if you can send, say, Laporta and Waller, or Laporta and Palmer to go get a stud wide receiver, I think we do it. Or Waller and Palmer. In reality, I think more people would be excited to go through and trade for Laporta than Waller, though. Comp today says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you, my man. 5-0, 14-team Abby BR Double Flex League. We got Patty, Swift, Kyron, Hopkins, Evans, Ertz, Pacheco, Dell, and then on the bench, Gibbs, Michael Wilson, Dobbs, Rice, Debo, Deontay Musgrave. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, okay, is this team really 5-0? Then I remembered it's a 14-team league. We're about to get Deontay Johnson back in a 14-team double flex league. That's actually going to make a pretty big difference. Probably rostering one too many wide receivers down here on the bench. Probably want to focus it a little bit more on running back depth. But overall, very comfortable team where we are just thinking for the long term. I mean, if we could go through and send like Mike Evans for Justin Jefferson on a 5-0 team, probably does make some sense, right? Probably does make sense. Now, Anderson says, happy birthday. What are the best pick'ems this week? So if I'm looking at some of the pick'ems that we like, y'all know all week, last week, we were talking about Christian Watson for more than 40 receiving yards. Some of my favorite pick'ems for this week. DJ Moore, 61.5 receiving yards isn't bad. Chris Olave, 59.5 receiving yards. CMC, 75.5. And I screen recorded this yesterday. I'm sure that Underdog has significantly more pick'ems up today. I should have been a little less lazy, and I should have got y'all some more Underdog pick'ems to look at. But we'll look at them more in depth tomorrow. Jerry says, happy birthday, Flock. Thank you, my man. 5-0, 10 team full BBR. Any ways to improve? We have Herbert, AJ, Chase, Kamara, Kyron, Goddard, Waddle. And then on the bench, we have Brees, Aaron Jones, Javonte Sutton, Russ, and Palmer. So we do have a considerable amount of depth. I'd say at this point, cut Russell Wilson if we have Justin Herbert. Or, I mean, obviously, if we can sell him to the Anthony Richardson team, we would. Like, if you can send, like, Russell Wilson for Anthony Richardson, I think that would make a lot of sense. Outside of that, we do have a ton of running back depth. I mean, I don't necessarily think we need to make a trade because what do we need, right? I mean, if you wanted to send like Aaron Jones and Dallas Goedert for TJ Hawkinson or Brees Hall and Dallas Goedert for Travis Kelce, you could go ahead and do that just because we're loaded at RB here. Now, Steven says, I have Fields, Stevenson, Warren, Jaleel, Edwards, Chase, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, London, Hawkinson. We were offered Burrow, White for Fields and Moore. Fields to Burrow, downgrade. Moore to White, down. Honestly, no, you don't want to do it. I think you want to ride your team out as well. I mean, if you were going to want to go through and do anything, I think it would be interesting if we can take like a depth wide receiver like Drake London and package him with Justin Fields to go up to, say, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I would really like to do that, but in terms of that trade, probably not getting nearly enough value there, my friend. Okay. Jacob says, standard league, we have James Cook, Taylor, Achane, Wilson, Diggs, Thielen, Lockett, Ferguson, Kincaid. Who to start? We need one flex and one tight end. So running back, we're going to be going with Taylor, James Cook. Wide receiver, we're going to go Diggs and Thielen. For the flex, we will go Tyler Lockett. And then at tight end, we are going to go Jake Ferguson. I don't even know if Dalton Kincaid's going to play this week. I think he is dealing with a concussion. Now, D-Lang says, happy birthday, drop Palmer or Sutton to get Logan Thomas. If you really need a tight end, you could drop Palmer if we really needed one. Okay. Now, Bradley says 12-team PBR here. Let me actually turn off donations real quick. We're going to turn off donations for just 1 second. I am sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let me catch up, and then we will turn them back on. But I believe we are far behind. Now, Bradley with our next question says, 12-team PBR 3-2. We have Hurts, Hall, Walker, JT, Roshan, Pacheco, Moss, Chase, Smith, Puka, Wandale, Pitts, Musgrave. Just flipped Walker and Pacheco for Justin Jefferson. Did I come out on top? 3-2, we're thinking long-term. 12-team league, depth matters a little bit more. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would y'all rather have? Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or Kenneth Walker and Isaiah Pacheco? You can see the team here. Spam the chat. Are you going to be going with Walker and Pacheco or Justin Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen? We got 1 for the RBs, 2 for the RBs, 3, 4 for the RBs, 5 for the RBs, 6, 7, 8 for the RBs, 9 for the RBs, 1, 2, 3 for Jefferson. Walker, Jefferson, Walker. Looks like most people are taking the running backs at this price tag. I ranked in my rest of season rankings on flogfantasy.com, Justin Jefferson is the wide receiver 1. Jacob says, standard league, we have James Cook, Taylor, Achane, Jeff Wilson, Diggs, Thielen, Lockett, Ferguson, Kincaid. Who are we going to start? We actually just answered this. So real quick, just I'm sure Jacob thought like, oh, we didn't answer my question. Let me donate again. If you are new and you don't know what we do, I just answer donations in order. I'm never going to miss your question. Never think, oh, Mason missed my question. Sometimes I get way too behind. And yes, I'm sorry if it takes us too long. That's why we turn off the donations like we just did right now so I can catch back up. But never think, oh, Mason missed my question. I need to donate again for him to see it. That's not going to happen. I promise you I'll get to yours. Ryok says 1-4 full BBR 8-team league. We have Stroud, Kyron, Achane. What are you talking about, my man? I just said I have Jefferson ranked as wide receiver 10. Why would you think I have him over Tyreek? We have 1-4 full BBR 8-team league. Stroud, Kyron, Achane, Smith, Lamb, Ingram. And then on the bench, we have Ridley, Lawrence, Love, Amari, Palmer, Watson, Higgins, Eckler. Oh, if I said 1, no, I'm sorry. I meant Justin Jefferson's wide receiver 10. Sorry. That's on me. That's on me. But trade ideas, 8-team league. Let's get an upgrade in the starting lineup. Let's go send Ridley and Evan Ingram. Let's go get Hawkinson. Let's go send... I don't know. Let's go send Amari and Stroud and go get Lamar. You need to upgrade QB and tight end there in an 8-team league. Now, Owen says, hey, man, Ayuk and Pierce for Lamb. I would rather have CeeDee Lamb, to be honest. Jaron, always happy to see you, my man. Says, happy birthday. Appreciate you. Who do we pick up in order of immediate production? DeMercado, Elijah, Osborne. No, we're going to go Osborne over Elijah. So DeMercado, Osborne, Elijah, Johnston, Spears, Rice in that order. If you need production right now, not for the long term. Okay, so Elijah coming out says, happy birthday. Thank you. 4-1 full BBR. Got offered Aaron Jones for Addison. I'd rather have Aaron Jones. We have we have Keenan, Tyreek, Etienne, and Javonte. Yeah, give me Aaron Jones for the long term there, my man. I mean, obviously you made an argument for Addison over him right now, but we will eventually get Jefferson back in, hopefully. Gregory says 1-4 12-team BBR league. We have Tua, Saquon, Stevenson, Diggs, Pittman, Ferguson, Lockett. And then on the bench, Fields, Drake, Najee, Moss. Okay, 1-4 team. We need points in the starting lineup right now, my man. Let's go send Justin Fields and Jake Ferguson. And let's go out there and let's get TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. Diddy coming out. Thank you, my man. 12-team BBR, 4-1. We have Mahomes, Walker, Bijan, DJ, Devonta Smith, Ingram, Achane. Replacement for Achane and Mostert not available. The bench is Hollywood, Tutu, and Dotson. I mean, we're just going to play Hollywood in that flex spot for now. I mean, I think you could drop Tutu and pick up another play off the waiver wire if you really wanted to. The issue is 4-1 team. We're not looking to go out there and make any dramatic trades right now for our flex spot, right? I mean, we're still sitting with Kenneth Walker and Bijan Robinson, so you are in a comfortable position here. Chris says, how do we feel about Quentin Johnson in Dynasty? I like Quentin Johnson in Dynasty. He's had 4 weeks, right? Like, we're not writing off a guy after 4 weeks. I also trade Quentin Johnson and Ford for Saquon in a Dynasty league. If you are a contending team, yeah, completely fine sending Quentin Johnson and Ford for Saquon in a Dynasty format. Thank you so much, my man. Now, Jack says, 5-0 somehow, 12-team BBR. We lost Jefferson today. We have Dak, Gibbs, Hall, Olave, DJ, Higbee. Yeah, the team's not good. You're not moving on to Jefferson. If you were 1-4 with this team, yeah, you'd go through and you would panic sell Justin Jefferson. But it doesn't matter if you think we belong at 5-0, you think we belong at 1-4, you think we belong at 2. It doesn't matter what you think you belong. You are your record. When you go to the fantasy football playoffs and they rank you in standings, you're 5-0, my man. You're not necessarily, we're going to power grade you based off the name value. You're good, my friend. Now, Sandman says, 10-team PPR, we have Eckler, Bijan, Brees, Olave, Ridley, Garrett, Hollywood. Wide receiver will feel weak. Should we trade Bijan for Adams straight up? Hell to the no, my man. I know we're getting Eckler back, but you're going to be fine riding on as is. Okay. Caden says, happy birthday, go. Rough year in the main league. 1-4, 12-team BBR double flex. We have Mahomes, Bijan, Stevenson, Sanders, Tyreek, Olave, Metcalf, Dotson, Hawkinson. Just traded Tyreek for Waddle, Montgomery, Nico. I don't like it, to be honest with you. I understand the thought process here. The depth that we have with this team's not great. Obviously, don't like starting Ramondre Stevenson. It's a 12-team double flex format where wide receiver, just overall depth matters a little bit more. I still don't know if I like it, though. I still think we would rather have Tyreek Hill. Right now, Tyreek Hill is the second most valuable player in fantasy, only behind Christian McCaffrey. Okay. Now, Justin says Pacheco for Evans in a 10-team league. I'd rather have Pacheco, probably. It depends on your team. Carlos says 10-team full BBR format, 4-1. Hurts, CMC, Stevenson, Amon-Ra, Evans, Laporta, Addison, Gibbs, Kirk, Pittman. Traded Laporta, Kirk for Cup. Phenomenal deal. Without saying the rest of the team, I don't think we really have to do anything else here. I mean, we went through in a league that's a 10-team league, single flex, went out there and traded for a top 10 asset in Cooper Kupp. You're in a really good spot. Now, Freddie coming out saying 4-1. We have Hurts, Jefferson, Olave, Puka, Ayuk, Mixon, Brian Robinson, Ingram. And on bye, Watson and Aaron Jones. Got an offer for Jefferson and Gibbs for Travis Kelce. 4-1. Obviously, we are thinking long-term here. Obviously, we'd rather have Kelce over Jefferson. I think you need to be, if we're going to make this deal, we can wait a week and do it a week from now. Like let's start Kelce on Thursday and we can revisit next week. Ray says, 12 team, 1 flex, Ridley and Jacobs for Eckler. Happy birthday, brother. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Single flex league. Let's go get Eckler. Blue Yay says, happy birthday, 12 team, Abby BR, triple flex, 1 wide receiver. We have Lamar, Kupp, St. Brown, Kirk, Jacobs, Walker, Kelce, Kamara. And then on the bench, Zay, Osborne, Mingo, Tank, Hubbard, Breida, Tony. Any trades or waiver wire moves? I don't necessarily think so, my friend. I mean, you're in a really comfortable spot, especially a 3 wide receiver league. I think that, yeah, you just continue to turn the waiver wires. You're already doing it, picking up guys like KJ Osborne. Rob coming out says, happy birthday, my man. Missed it earlier. 3-2, happy BR, triple wide receiver league. Trade Tua, Addison, Roshan for Mahomes and Ford. Yes, sir. Really like the move. We have Tua, Stroud. Yeah, and then also, I think we also looked at the possibility of, after you do this, to go through and make the other trade involving CJ Stroud. Yeah, we definitely did look at this early, my friend. But yeah, let's go through and let's go get Patrick Mahomes here. I think it does make a lot of sense, even in a league where we start 3 wide receivers, as we have Tyreek and Kupp at the very top. AB says, got offered Keenan, Montgomery, Andrews for St. Brown, Ridley, Hawkinson. Going from Hawkinson to Andrews, slight downgrade with the Jefferson injury. Ridley to Montgomery, probably give me Montgomery. St. Brown to Keenan, give me Keenan. If you would trade Ridley for Montgomery straight up, you should just do the deal. You know, I think you just take the overall deal, my friend. Now, Brian says Watson's at quarterback. Running back, we have Eckler, Brees, Barkley, Montgomery, Zeke. Wide receiver, we have Olave, Elijah, Dell, Zay, Johnston. Tight end, Kelce. Need another receiver. What do you think we should do? Okay. So, I mean, if we have this kind of running back depth, we have Eckler coming back, Barkley coming back. We have Brees popping off. We have Montgomery. I mean, if we were looking to go through and trade for another top end wide receiver, if you wanted to see if you could send like Brees Hall and go get Amon-Ra St. Brown, go get CeeDee Lamb, I think that could be an interesting case. Obviously, Brees looks like he's crushing it, and he is an elite talent, which is why people would be very excited to trade for him. And of course, we would try to sell him for like Devontae Adams if possible. But ultimately, I do think that if we can get an elite level receiver on a team like that for him, it makes sense, as he did go up against the worst defense in the NFL this week. But Curran coming out says, yo, happy belated, Mason. It's actually my birthday today, my man, but thank you. 2 and 3, double flex. We have Lamar, Bijan, Montgomery, Lamb, Hopkins, Addison, James Cook. And then on the bench, we have Jefferson, Ramadre, Flowers, Warren, Jaleel. Was offered DJ and Jonathan Taylor for Bijan. Accept or stay put. So double flex format. We need production right now. We'd also trade Lamb and Ramadre for A.J. Brown. I probably stay put with Bijan Robinson. I like the idea of us going through and buying low on Jonathan Taylor. I like the idea of maybe picking up a little bit of additional depth, specifically in this format with this team. But I don't think we're getting a compelling enough price on either deal. I think we probably reject both. If you wanted to make a trade for Jonathan Taylor, I may actually rather just trade, say, like David Montgomery for JT, if we're talking long-term here. Now, Aiden says, full PPR, do we trade Saquon for Aaron Jones or Jonathan Taylor? with Pittman and Judy, or do I trade him for Montgomery and Mike Evans? If we are looking at this, if you wanted to trade for someone between Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor, you would trade for JT, but I don't know how excited we are about doing that, to be honest. It was Barkley, even if he's in a horrendous offense, all the receiving volume in a full PPR league. Cameron says 12-team PPR single flex 1 and 4. Receive Hurts, Smith, Sanders. Give Herbert, JT. Herbert to Hurts upgrade. JT to Smith and Sanders downgrade. I'd probably keep JT. I think JT is the best player in the deal. Frank says 10-team PPR. We have Herbert, Pollard, Kyron, DK, Pittman, Kelsey, Swift. And then on the bench, we have Najee, Hall, Kirk, Quentin, Algier. Thoughts on the team or trade for a receiver? Great team. Don't think we really have to do anything. If you wanted to send like DK Metcalf and go get Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, or Devonta Smith, I think we would do that. I mean, DK Metcalf only has 23 targets in comparison to like JSN at 20 so far this season. Ricardo coming out and said, just traded Ayuk and Kmet for CeeDee Lamb. Great deal. Now we are Burrow, JT, Kyron, Jamar, Lamb, Kittle, Zay. A bunch of hopeful players on that bench. Yeah, great trade. If you can go through and make that play for CeeDee Lamb, I think that's a no-brainer. Now, David coming out says, traded Mostert for Jordan Addison. Is this a bad move? Mostert for Addison, honestly, with the HN injury, may rather have Mostert in the short term. We have great running backs. We had solid wide receivers as well. Really, it is up to you. I mean, Mostert going into week 4 was the number 1 player in fantasy scoring. Yazan says 12-team PPR single flex. We have Hurts, JT, James Cook, Hill, Myers, Henry, Watson, Brian Robinson in the flex. Any moves? Happy birthday, my man. Thank you so much, my dude. I mean, here, if you were going to do anything, maybe we can see if we can upgrade at wide receiver. But if these are our flex options, we're probably chilling as is. We have the elite level quarterback. Getting Jonathan Taylor back in is going to help us out so damn much. And yeah, I think this team will be better in the long term. I think JT just needs some time to expand his role in this offense. But Styles coming out saying 4-1, 10-team single flex full PPR format. We have Allen, Etienne, Pollard, Jefferson, Ayuk, Collins, Addison, Laporta, Higgins, Deontay Pitts. Good offer to Monra for Laporta. Should we accept? I would rather have a Monra St. Brown over Laporta. Should I accept it, put him in the starter, or make a... No, we're going to just go ahead. We're going to put him in as a starter. If you wanted to sell someone... And we're not going to be selling Justin Jefferson. You're not going to get much back in return. And we are 4-1, and we're in a very comfortable spot. If you could sell Jefferson for Kelsey, then sure, go do it. I just don't think you can. Okay. Now, Luke says, trade Madison for Gibbs. What are your thoughts? I think Gibbs is more upside in a full PPR format long term. I think Madison you'd rather have right now. Long coming out says 12-team. We have Goff, Kamara, Stevenson, Chase, Godwin, Pitts, Palmer, Jets, Richardson, Khalil, Deontay. Any ideas? We're 2 and 3. So really, we're just waiting long term, and we had a decent amount of injuries, but we have depth here at the same time. If you're 2 and 3 and you're worried about what you're going to have for the short term, if you wanted to send like, say, Anthony Richardson and Stevenson to get a running back upgrade now, then go for it. But Paytai says, should I be worried about JT's usage right now? If you're trying to start him this week, probably yes. For his long term, no, I think he's still going to crush. Now, Andrew says 10-team full BBR format. We have Burrow, Keenan, Lamb, Bijan, Swift, Goddard, Debo, and then on the bench we have Gibbs, London, Dak, Sutton, Jameson, Rashee Rice, Michael Thomas. What moves do we make, if any? Now that Burrow looks viable, I don't really think that we need to make any moves. I think we're just going to let some of this upside down to the bench kind of just progress as the season goes forward. I mean, if we could go through and take a depth wide receiver like London and send him with Goddard to go get to the TJ Hawkinson range, we do it. It's probably not possible. Caleb coming out says, would you trade Bijan in Hollywood for Etienne, Laporta, Dell? I have CMC, JT, Moss, Chase, Higgins, DJ Moore, Pat, and Schultz for tight end. I'm 4-1 in a 14-team league. Bijan to Etienne downgrade. Hollywood to Laporta. Give me Laporta. Dell doesn't matter. I probably am going to go ahead with this roster. Probably going to keep the best player. Probably just going to go ahead and keep Bijan Robinson here, my friend. Now, Mike says, should we trade Madison for Gabe Davis? Up to you. I think both of them are like in a range where you can start them and Very low floor. I mean, maybe you have a higher ceiling with Gabe Davis, but it is what it is. Okay. Now, Rob says 4-1. We have HN, Mix, Hall, both with the week 7 bye. Javonte Warren. Should we cut Dell or Palmer for Roshan, Amari, Jeff, Spears? Only $10 fab. Who's the priority? Do we hold on to the fab? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. We could always go through and we could always put super low bids in for these players. Like just bid $1 on each guy and just see if we get them. And yeah, I think we would go ahead and cut Tank Dell for Roshan or the running back in Arizona or Jeff Wilson Jr., to be honest with you, given the Devon Achane injury that we have. But I think we would probably cut Dell given the concussion and Nico Collins getting the volume. Now, Sam says 1-4, 12-team PBR single flex league. Should we trade Ramondre Addison for Waddle, then flip him in a running back, or Ramondre and Judy for Gibbs and Rice? Judy to Rice is a downgrade. Ramondre to Gibbs, I think maybe long-term Gibbs, but we don't care about long-term on a 1-4 roster. I honestly don't think we do any of these deals, my friend. I don't think you're getting enough value with any of them. Gateway coming out says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. 10-team, 1 flex, full PBR, 3-2, 4-way tie for first. Just lost Jefferson and Richardson. So we're starting Lawrence, Walker, Kyron, Brees, Diggs, Devonta Smith, Laporta. Great team. We have Spears, Roshan, Tutu, Judy. Do we trade Jefferson and Brees for Keenan? Hell to the no. Do not do that, especially 10-team 1 flex league where the depth is going to be easy to come by. You're chilling, my man. I think we can still be competitive and we can hold on to Jefferson and not have to sell the long-term upside. Seth says, my running back room is stacked. James Cook needs to go. Any trade, should we send him for a wide receiver? If you want to send James Cook, if you could get to Lamb, Smith, Olave, Waddle, I think that would be about the range you'd be looking at. If you can grab one of those guys, that'd be an absolute no-brainer. But let me refresh this so we can keep on bringing up these questions. And as I do this, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button on this live stream. We are closing in on 900 likes this stream. Less than 10% of y'all have hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, since it's our birthday today, Underdog's hooking up everybody this week with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that while y'all still can. Super pumped that we're able to get y'all all of that. But our next question, we're going to have to resize everything here. Give me 1 second. We already answered this one from Seth. We're going to be answering this one from Chickapool. Says 12-team PBR 1-4. We have Lamar, Kyron, JT, Moss, Pierce, Roshan, Warren, Diggs, Wilson, Kirk, Lockett, Pickens, Tutu, Palmer. Good offered Etienne, Komet, Godwin for Kirk, and Kyron and Wilson. So going from Kyron to Etienne, give me Etienne. Wilson to Godwin, give me Wilson. Kirk to Komet, give me Kirk. Fair deal, up to you. I really like Etienne, so I may do it, but honestly, I do think that is up to you there, my friend. Miguel says, I'm 2-3. We have Burrow, Jacobs, Henry, Brees, DK, Jefferson, Hollywood, Terry, Jefferson, Kittle. Should I trade Miles Sanders for Christian Watson? Happy BR, any suggestions? 2-3 team, probably looking to get points in here right now, especially with the Justin Jefferson injury. So yeah, with Jefferson going down, I think that you are completely fine to go ahead and make this move. Now, Ollie says Joseph says 10-team PBR, 1 flex, 2-3. We have Mahomes, JT, Aaron Jones, Hill, Kupp, Hawkinson, DK. On the bench, we have Connor, Sanders, Lockett, Pierce, Tua. Any moves or do we sit on our hands? 10-team league, 1 flex. Depth doesn't matter a lot. We lose out on some of that depth with James Conner. The only thing I'd say is if we can approach the Anthony Richardson team and go ahead and get, say, a nice return for the combo of Tua and DK, like getting an elite level wide receiver. I think that would make a lot of sense if we can. Okay. Now, Diali, always happy to see us, says 16-team dynasty double flex. We have Allen, James Cook, Pierce, Hawkinson, Jefferson, Lamb, Downs, Roschon, Woods, Osborne, Michael Wilson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Carr, Douglas. Worried about Jefferson rest of season. Traded Marshall for Osborne. I think that's a steal. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're going to go through, if you're contending, going ahead and trading Terrace Marshall for KJ Osborne, Osborne's going to give you something right now. Terrace Marshall has shown us, I mean, since he was drafted in 2021, that he's going to give you absolutely nothing. I mean, he's being outproduced by the combination of DJ Chark and Adam Thielen, and now you have, you have Jonathan Mingo seeing more snaps. So, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially in a 16-team league where depth does matter there in your dynasty format. Obviously, Osborne doesn't have much long-term value, but still, it doesn't matter. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Fall, who says, happy birthday, Mason. 4-1, 10-team BBR. We have Hurts, Hill, Devonta, Kyron, Hall, Brian Robinson, London, Pitts, Kittle, Jameson. Should I wait? I could probably go get a player like Brandon Ayuk. I think you should wait. Honestly, these wide receivers, I think you are going to get a bounce back with someone like Devonta Smith. You have Smith sacked up with Jalen Hurts. If you could get like Ayuk by sending like Drake London and Jameson Williams, then sure, let's do it. But great team. Great team. Tyler coming out says 4-1, happy BR format. Single flex. We have Allen, Pollard, Jones, Brian Robinson, Ramondre, Roschon, Tyreek, AJ Brown, Nico, Pittman, Andrews. Thoughts on any possible moves? So single flex league, depth's not going to matter too much here. I mean, here behind Pollard, you don't love your running back room, but we're going to be able to get by with it. We have the elite level wide receivers. We have the elite quarterback. We have the elite tight end, exactly what you would want in this format. Great team. Great team. Jude Guy says, what happens to football players when they go blind? They become referees. I'll see myself out. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, my man. And that's a pretty good one. Honestly, I was like, okay, where is he going with this? But yeah, no, that's a good punchline there. Love to see it, my man. And thank you so much for stopping by the live stream. You know I appreciate you. Now, Ryan says, Hopkins, Henry for Swift. We have Pollard and Puka, DK. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, or DeAndre Swift? Hopkins and Henry or DeAndre Swift? Let me know. And as I wait for y'all, let's answer Joey's question. So should I trade the Washington defense or Texans for Jonathan Mingo? 16-team league, Browns are the main defense. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I think you're probably overthinking it. I mean, to be honest with you. If you're telling me like you can't pick up defenses off the waiver wire, you probably want to be holding on to two of them. Even if you have the Browns making it through their bye week already. So we got Henry, Swift, Henry, Swift, Swift, Henry, Henry, Swift, Henry, Swift, 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 Swift. So it looks like most people would rather have DeAndre Swift over Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. Nate says, full BBR, we have Richardson, Saquon, Brees, AJ Metcalf, Watson, Pitts, Javonte, Dotson, Warren, Khalil, Ferguson, Johnston. Any moves? Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I mean, here, obviously, we're going to have to make a play at quarterback for the short term. We can just stream. I mean, if we are looking at this lineup, if we could go through and maybe send like DK Metcalf and go get to like Lamar, I think that'd make a lot of sense. But I guess actually maybe we don't even have the depth to do that with the Khalil Herbert injury. I mean, we lose out a little bit of depth there as well. So honestly, I think we're just sitting on our hands and probably just going to stream the quarterback room. But Ty coming out, thank you, my man, says 1-4 PBR format, double flex, 3 receivers. Getting rid of Jefferson, the team is Allen, Amari, Hollywood, Watson, Pollard, Musgrave, London. And the bench is Pitts, Dobbs, Josh Downs, Deshaun Watson. 100% agree. In a league where wide receiver depth matters a lot, where we can start 5 wide receivers on a week-to-week perspective, where we're 1-4, we need to go through, we need to trade away Justin Jefferson. Should we trade Jefferson for AJ Brown and Laporta? Yes, I would do that. Should we trade him for Adams and DJ Moore? Yes, I would do that. Should we trade him for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ridley? Yes, I would do that. I would do any one of these trades, specifically in a league where we can start up to 5 wide receivers. I would probably prefer the Adams and DJ Moore or Adams and DK Metcalf deal. And if Musgraves are starting tight end, then I think, honestly, I would go with the second deal, third deal, then the first deal because wide receiver depth is so important. But I would love it if you could get that price on Jefferson. Literally any of them. Now, Jake coming out saying, please do not spam the chat over and over again with a copied and pasted question. You will be muted for the time being. Do not do that. Jake says 10-team full BBR format 4-1. We have Tua, Richardson, CMC, Brees, Ramadre, Moss, Chase, AJ Brown, Kirk, Lockett, Deontay Ferguson, Kincaid. Any moves? Was thinking about AJ Brown, Jefferson, or tight ends. AJ Brown's going to be really hard to trade for right now. Like if you wanted to go out there and if you wanted to make a play for, I knew we have AJ Brown. Never mind. Okay, so you're thinking about trading AJ Brown for Jefferson and a tight end? Like, say if you could send AJ Brown for... Oh, no, just about Jefferson or tight end. If you could send, say, like, AJ Brown and go get Justin Jefferson and, like, TJ Hawkinson or Justin Jefferson, Mark Andrews or Justin Jefferson, Sam Laporta, that probably makes sense on a 4-1, 10-team league. Obviously, I'd be willing to throw in a tight end and get that deal done. If you wanted to go through and send, like, Christian Kirk and... say Jake Ferguson and go get to a tight end you're excited about from week to week perspective. If you go like Christian Kirk, Kincaid, and Ferguson and go get to one of those guys like Andrews or Hawkinson, I think that would be a no-brainer as well. Now, Emilio coming out says, happy birthday, Flock. Should we trade Jaleel? I currently own him, but I'm wondering if he has any value. You're not going to get anything. You can try. You're not going to get anything, though. I mean, if you can get a decent amount of value, let's go for it. The Fiji Pani, always happy to see us, says, yo, happy birthday, Mason. Hope your day is going well, brother. Cheers to many more. Thank you so much. And yes, we've had a good birthday today. We went through, we updated all our rankings on flockfantasy.com. We recorded 2 videos. We did a live stream earlier today. We're doing another live stream today. We had a meeting with the developers for flockfantasy.com. So we've had a very productive day today. It's been a good day. And we got the contractors for our yard finally finalized, and they're dropping off materials. So we got a lot happening today. But LeBron coming out after crying in the live chat for the past 30 minutes. Here's your question. Full BBR pickup, Roshan or DeMarcado? I'm probably going to be going with Roshan in a full BBR league if he clears concussion protocol. Now, Andrew says, I traded Etienne and Ayuk for Keenan Allen and Waddle. Etienne to Keenan, I'm fine with it. Ayuk to Waddle, I'm fine with it as well. And Hollywood for Jefferson. Oh, great deal selling Hollywood Brown for Justin Jefferson. Getting all the upside there. We have CMC, Brees, Kyren. Still, did I screw up? No, great deal. Love to see it, my man. Yeah, selling like Hollywood for Jefferson. Who really cares if like Hollywood does not come back after that, right? You're chilling almost regardless. And I'm just messing with you, my man. I'm just messing with you. That's why I don't address y'all when everybody spams the chat. You missed my question. You missed my question. You missed my question. As I know, 99.9999999% of the time, I did not miss your question. But yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time. Now, to the max says, happy birthday, Mason. First on the waiver wire, should I take Roshan or Goddard? Actually, probably Goddard. Running backs are Mixon, JT, Achane. Missing Achane's going to be tough, but we have the running back depth as well. Tight ends come out. Let's go get Goddard. Now, Average Joe says, should we trade Walker, Kirk, Madison for Etienne and Waddle? Kirk to Waddle upgrade. Waller and Madison to Etienne. Give me Etienne. Yeah, go get Etienne and Waddle easily. Kyle says, 12-team full BBR format. We have Mahomes, Bijan, Kyren, Mostert, James Conner, Waddle, Nico, Godwin, Hawkinson. Should we trade Hawkinson and Mostert for Travis Kelce? Ooh, interesting question. I'm sorry, Mostert. If you're looking at Mostert here, this is a running back that is in a spot where we can say, okay, well, yeah, he's going to be a must-start guy every single week. You have no Devon Achane. He's just going to come out here and absolutely crush. At the end of the day, Travis Kelce is still probably for Kelce here, but you could go ahead and make this play if you really wanted to. Now, Mo says 12-team full BBR format 3-2. Lost Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Somehow we dropped Burrow. What percentage of my fab should I go get for him? By the way, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. I mean, yeah, I think that if we're going to go through and look at a 12-team league, we can be pretty aggressive here. I think I'd be willing to spend whatever, like, say 75% of our fab budget, whatever's left over. Like that 75% of whatever we have left over for Joe Burrow. Miller says Dynasty Superflex and Stroud for 2 future firsts. It depends where those firsts line up. If you think one of those firsts will be a top 3 pick, then yeah, we probably get the 2 future first. If they both look like they're going to be late, you probably would rather have Stroud. Okay. Now, John says 4-1, 12-team BBR format. We have Lawrence, Jacobs, Etienne, Chase, Waddle, Smith, Laporta, Eckler, Michael Thomas. Then Lawrence, Jonnu, and Boyd for Joe Burrow. Do I trade into that Allen range if he takes Lawrence, Michael Thomas? Jonnu Smith, no value. Tyler Boyd, no value. So literally all you're asking is, do we trade Trevor Lawrence for Joe Burrow? I would probably rather have Burrow over Lawrence the rest of the season. Like, if you were comfortable with it, then send it. And then, yeah, I would trade for Josh Allen if we could send Michael Thomas and Trevor Lawrence for Josh Allen. That'd be a no-brainer. That'd be better than the Burrow deal. Jesus coming out says 10-team non-BBR format 3-2. We have Mahomes, Ayuk, Waddle, Mixon, Brian Robinson, Kelsey, Thielen. The bench is Flowers, Dell, Hunt, Dobbs, Jameson, Higgins. I want to upgrade from Brian Robinson. Who should we trade away and for who? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Non-BBR format, we would prioritize running back if possible. I don't think you're going to be able to sell Brian Robinson himself. I think in a non-PBR format, he's actually a hold to a buy with how he's viewed. I think maybe the deal is if we can take, say, like Adam Thielen, Tank Dell, and go get a running back like Rachaad White. Go get a running back somewhat in that range, especially in a non-PPR format. But 5-0 Drones coming out says, Aloha, happy birthday, 10-team PPR, single flex. 3-2, we have Kamara, Stevenson, Kupp, Puka, Amari, Thielen, Akers, Roschon, Charbonnet, Ingram, Cousins, Zay, Ingram again. So it'd be really nice if we can upgrade RB2, right? So if we can, I would love to take the second Evan Ingram that we have and send him with Ramondre. Obviously, I'm joking. In reality, I don't think we really have enough depth to get this done, because if we go through and try to map out a deal and what we're going to be looking to do, like what player on the bench has a considerable amount of value here? Not really anybody. I mean, if you could send like Adam Thielen and Ramondre Stevenson and go get to like the Kenneth Walker range, that'd be perfect. I doubt it can happen. I think one other interesting thing is if you could go through and send like, say, Adam Thielen and maybe Kirk Cousins to go get to the Lamar Jackson range. That could also be a viable move, knowing that you have no Jefferson anymore. But Shelby coming out says, happy birthday, Mason. Should we trade away Joey B, A.G. Brown, for Fields and Amon-Ra? I'm 5-0, all because of you, baby. Also just traded Chase for Eckler, sent up prayer. I think the Eckler deal may actually work out. Very, very interesting. We'll say that. Joey B for Justin Fields. Give me Fields in fantasy, obviously Burrow in real life. A.J. Brown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'd rather have A.J. Brown, but they're kind of in the same range. I think it's a very fair deal, and it's up to you. Can everybody answer Shelby's question here? Would you rather go Joey B and A.J. Brown or Justin Fields and Amon-Ra St. Brown? Burrow and Brown, Burrow and A.J. Brown, or Justin Fields and Amon-Ra St. Brown? Please spam the live chat. Let us know. And as I wait for y'all, Grady says 10-team full BBR format. Traded Jaleel Kmet for Mixon and Walker. Great deal. Absurd deal. Okay, so Burrow, Brown, Fields, Burrow, Fields, Burrow. Does look like it's split, maybe like 55-45 in favor of Joe Burrow, but it does seem like it's up to you. Theo says 2 and 3 PBR was offered Jefferson for Waddle and Brees, but feels like we'd be overpaying. I think you would be, especially on a 2 and 3 team. My man, you can't do this. 2 and 3 team, you need to prioritize production right now, not long-term upside. Mason says trade Kyron for Devonta Smith. We have Jacobs, JT, Javonte, Gibbs, Tyreek, Lamb. His running backs are Henry, Roschon. He has Keenan, Devonta, and Ayuk. Okay. I think you probably hold on to Kyron Williams. I like Devonta Smith as a buy low candidate. The issue is Kyron Williams, their running back, literally seeing every single snap and touch out of his backfield. KB says, would you trade Cup for Higgins and Pearson dynasty? We have Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Cup is in my flex. Pearson dynasty is kind of whatever. It's really, do you want Higgins or Cup? If you're rebuilding, you want Higgins. If you're contending, you want Cup. Luke says 10-team double flex 4-1, full PBR. We have Hurts, CMC, Brian Robinson, Hubbard, Gibbs, Adams, Ayuk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Osborne, Palmer, Jameson, Laporta. Any moves? Great team. We're getting Amon-Ra St. Brown back in. We have the long-term upside with someone like, say, Jahmyr Gibbs. We have the elite quarterback. We have a tight end that we really like. We have more long-term upside with like Jameson Williams. Great team. I think we're chilling on our hands. I mean, you're all in on the Detroit Lions offense there. 172 Gates coming out, says 12 team at BBR. Rate the team and what moves do we make? We're 2-3. We have Stroud, Henry, Aaron Jones, Keenan, Nico, Kelsey, Taylor, Pittman, Ford, Kirk, Justin Fields, Wan'Dale Ferguson. Okay. First thing is you're starting Justin Fields over CJ Stroud, my man. Second thing is team will be much better now that we get Taylor back in. Much better now that we have Keenan past this bye. We're going to get Aaron Jones back in relatively soon. I think you're already doing kind of what you want. I mean, if you could take a depth wide receiver like, say, Christian Kirk and go send him with Justin Fields to get to Josh Allen, get to Patrick Mahomes, get to Jalen Hurts, I think we would. But ultimately, you've done a great job of churning the waiver wire. We're staying alive despite the injuries that we've had to this team, despite the fact that we are better set up for the long term than the short term. So I think this team's only going to get better, my friend. Now, Fat In coming out says, happy birthday, Flock, 10-team BBR 0-5. Herbert, Mostert, Moss, Jefferson, Evans, Higgins, Debo, Taylor. Any moves or trades you suggest, I'm willing to try anything. 0-5 team, you have to sell Justin Jefferson. You have to sell Jefferson. You have no other option. You are essentially in the fantasy football playoffs right now. Go to a 4-1 team. Go to a 5-0 team. And go get something that is going to help you immediately. Like if you can go through and sell Jefferson for A.J. Brown, just get anybody in that range. I think you probably have to. Now, King says trade away DJ Moore and Pittman for Jefferson if I'm 4-1. I would sell DJ Moore for Jefferson if I'm 4-1 to add another piece to it. Probably a little bit too much. Benjamin says trade Garrett Wilson for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Great deal. Crumblefish says 12-team at BBR format. Trade Hall and Godwin for Cup and Gibbs. Depth matters a little bit more here, but going from Hall to Cup, 3 wide receiver league, give me Cup, Godwin to Gibbs. Long-term upside play. If you have a winning record right now, we get focused on the long-term upside. I'd probably take Cup and Gibbs. Now, Rago says Olave or Taylor in a non-PBR format. Non-PBR, it's Taylor. It's not close. Star coming out says 12-team PBR league. We have Herbert, CMC, Cook, Metcalf, Wilson, Flowers, Schultz. 5-0. Any ideas how to make the team better? Is there any value in trading James Cook? I mean, you can. Obviously, the James Cook usage is going down. If you wanted to pivot from James Cook to a running back like Rachaad White, you do you. Or if you wanted to see if you could send James Cook and go get a running back like Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe in a full PBR format where we're 5-0 and we're just thinking for the long-term upside, I think it's another possibility. Great team, very well-balanced team as well. I mean, having CMC, there's clear reason we're 5-0. Alex Snodgrass, always out here. Appreciate you, my man. Says, happy birthday. 2-3. We have Jefferson. Any move we should make? 10-team league. 10-team league will be easier to overcome. Burrow, Stroud, Pollard, Walker, Montgomery, Mostert, Sanders. Jefferson, Puka, Watson, Judy. Tight end, we have Laporta, Goddard. So I think the number one thing that we're going to look to do at this point, if we lose Jefferson, I don't think we need to sell him here. This team is very, very strong. I think that we can hold on to Jefferson for the long term. However, if you are looking at what we have when it comes to the bench options here, I think if we could send, say, like Dallas Goedert and Christian Watson, Dallas Goedert and Jerry Jeudy, and go get a wide receiver upgrade to play alongside Puka, that'd be very interesting. As we have Laporta, we can start every single week, then go throw 2 running backs in the starting lineup, play running backs in the flex as well, and you're in a very comfortable spot. But Cole says 10-team PBR 3-2. We have Herbert, Bijan, James Cook, Chase, Higgins, Keenan, Kelsey. On the bench, we have Lockett, Zay, Jerome Ford, Gabe Davis, Jonathan Taylor. Any trade ideas? Much better spot now that we get JT back in. We have the wide receiver depth as well. I stand by the fact that if we can go through, if we can take Jerome Ford and like Tyler Lockett and go get an upgrade at wide receiver, or Ford and Zay Flowers and go get an upgrade at running back, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially in a 10-team league where we have this kind of depth. But great team. Great team. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are closing in on 1,000 likes on this live stream. We are 3 likes away from hitting 1,000 likes here. So if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $100 on Underdog, plus our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, plus a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy for this Thursday, and since it's our birthday today, Underdog is hooking everybody up who has used code FLOCK or uses code FLOCK with a Justin Herbert special pick'em on top of that Patrick Mahomes one for Monday night. So 2 special pick'ems in the same week. So please make sure you take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. Also, it would be the best birthday present you could get me. Not close either. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Cole, says, 10-team BBR 3-2. We have Herbert, Bijan, James Cook, Chase, Higgins, Keenan, Kelsey. I know we already looked at that one. Daniel says trading Adams, Reed for DJ Moore, Montgomery. Ugh. Reed doesn't matter. Adams for DJ Moore, Montgomery. Depends on your team. Depends on your settings. Okay. Ghosteska says, 12-team BBR, double flex, 3-2 team. Stroud, Etienne, Kamara, Jefferson, DK, Puka, Nico, Herbert, Roshan. Should we sell Jefferson or hold? Double flex, 12-team league. Depth's going to matter a little bit more. We have enough firepower to start right now. Because we are 3-2, I think we just hold for the time being and send up a prayer that he is back in 4 weeks. But obviously, it is very risky. If you were like 1-4 with that team, I'd definitely sell. But 3-2, you have a little more flexibility. Charles says, in the flex spot, are we going to go Hopkins, Thielen, Kirk, or Devonta Smith? I'm going to be going with Devonta Smith. Colin says, 4-1, 12-team BBR was offered Mixon for Laporta. Should we accept or hold for a better offer? We have Kelsey. If you have Kelsey, I'd rather get Mixon. Broken Euro says, 1-4, 10-team BBR, starting Cousins, Jacobs, Pacheco, Flowers, Addison, Reynolds, Kelsey, Samuel Palmer. On the bench, we have London, Akers, Watson, Gibbs, Downs. What trades can we get to make a better RB1, RB2? I mean, we don't have that much depth that we can be packaging, right? Like, I'm fine with Jacobs, Pacheco. I think we're going to be sitting with this running back room for now. I think long term, say once you have Pacheco coming out and tomorrow night crushing, or I apologize, Thursday night, crushing a very bad Denver Broncos rush defense, then at that point, maybe we can sell Pacheco in London in a package, get an upgrade at running back. But for now, you're probably just chilling. Ethan says 12-team at BBR, triple wide receiver, 1 flex. We have St. Brown, Diggs, Mostert, Metcalf, Connor, Spears, Godwin, Gainwell, Reed. Should we trade Metcalf for Montgomery or Alvin? Yes, I think we would, even in a 3 wide receiver league. I would go get David Montgomery in that BBR format. Also, Jaden Reed is droppable at this point, my friend. Jaden Reed's droppable. Now, Eli says 10-team BBR. We have Hurts, Pollard, Gibbs, Jefferson, Moore, Ingram, Myers. On the bench, we have Watson, Godwin, Flowers, Najee. Any moves? If we could send Evan Ingram and Flowers, Evan Ingram and Godwin, and go get an elite level tight ends, I really would like that. I think that would make a lot of sense. Now, Justin says, I'm 3-2. Do we put Jefferson up for trade? I'm lacking running backs, but I have Kupp, Hollywood, Garrett Wilson as my top 3 receivers besides Jefferson. You can throw him up, and if you can get another round 1 wide receiver in return, then we probably just go ahead and do it, right? The thing is, like, if all of a sudden you're going to be selling Justin Jefferson and the return is like Hollywood Brown, then there's just absolutely no reason to do it. So it can't hurt to throw him on the trade block and see what you could get. And if someone just says, oh, yeah, I love Justin Jefferson, I'll send you A.J. Brown for him, then sure, you can go ahead and make the move. But by no means is that something you have to be doing right now, right? Now, Handy Manny coming out saying, 10-team at BBR 3-2. Trade Mostert for Goddard and Rachaad White. We have JT and Jacobs already. Thanks for helping me win all my leagues. No, thank you so much for being a member of the flock. If you really wanted to, you could. I just think that Raheem Mostert looks like a locked and loaded top 10 RB for the foreseeable future, right? I think he's the best player in this deal. If you really needed a tight end and if you still had faith in Goddard, then go ahead and do it. Riz says, looks like Travis Kelce's putting too much work on his legs now that he's with Taylor. What range should we send for Jefferson in a 4-1 team? Okay, let me go ahead and pull this up, my man. So 4-1 team, the wide receivers I have ranked directly behind Jefferson in our rest of season rankings that I would sell if we were just thinking for long term. Keep in mind, you are taking a considerable amount of risk, but you also are getting some upside. I would sell Puka, Waddle, Smith, Olave, Ridley, DJ, Ayuk, Pittman, Metcalf, Amari, any wide receiver in that range for Jefferson on a 4-1 roster. I think maybe it makes some sense. But obviously, we just have to understand we are taking on a ton of risk. But Xavier says, took our first L. Four and 1, 12-team full BBR. We have Dak, Russ, Mixon, Swift, White, Ford, Edwards, Jefferson. Oh my gosh, my man. This is a really tough spot to be in. I was initially going to say, okay, let's go ahead and let's take one of our depth pieces like Rachaad White or like Joe Mixon. Let's send Joe Mixon and Dak and get the best quarterback we can. But now that we have no Jefferson, we are operating with our hands tied behind our backs, that we probably need that running back for the flex spot. Especially as we look at the wide receivers to the bottom end, where these wide receivers have long-term upside but aren't giving us anything right now. So it's very nice that we are 4-1, so we have the flexibility and we have the upside where we don't have to panic right now. I think we're going to be chilling on our hands. It would be a lot better if we had Jefferson healthy and then we could go through and trade for a better quarterback. Shelby says, should we trade Saquon for Breece Hall? Ooh. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Breece Hall or Saquon Barkley? If you look at my rest of season rankings on flockfantasy.com, I have Saquon Barkley at 23 overall and Breece Hall at 24 overall. So I have these guys literally back to back. Breece, Barkley, and that's a Jets fan saying Barkley. Barkley, Breece. Bias, but Breece. Saquon, Breece. Breece, Saquon, Breece. So it does look like it's split about 50-50, and we have them ranked back to back in our rankings as well. So I think it kind of does show how close they are, and it really is going to be up to you here. I mean, I'll trade Saquon for ETN if we can do that. I'll do that in a heartbeat. Carson says, 10-team BBR 3-2 with Richardson, Love, Mostert, Madre, Damian Pierce, Tyreek, CD, Nico Collins, Christian Watson, Dobbs, Boyd, Ingram, Higbee. Any changes or any moves to make? Obviously, quarterback's going to be a struggle now. I mean, if we were going to be able to make a move, maybe we can go ahead and send like Nico Collins and Jordan Love, or say like Nico Collins and Anthony Richardson, and see if we can get someone like Lamar that's in that Richardson range long-term, but also going to give us production right now. I think that could make a lot of sense. And then throw in Higbee if you wanted to do it. I mean, Higbee was that sell-high guy for us, just given the fact that when you do have Kupp coming back in, I mean, not going to see too much production with Higbee. Judo Master says, what can I get for Tyreek? Thanks, Mason. You can get pretty much whatever you want, my man. I mean, Tyreek Hill is up there as the number 2 overall player in fantasy football right now. I mean, only behind Christian McCaffrey. And you can kind of do whatever you want there, to be honest with you. Now, John says, hey, Mason, 10-team BBR triple flex. Should we drop Javonte or Johnston for a premium handcuff RB? Charbonnet, Spears, Moss are all on the waiver wire. If you wanted to drop Quentin Johnston for Zach Moss, I'm not going to fault you at all for that. Dropping Javonte may be a little bit too early. I understand the thought process. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like Jaleel or Pirine that good. I mean, when Javonte is back, I do expect him to be the starting guy here. Colin says 3-2 standard PPR, 1 flex. We have Jefferson. The Eckler owner might not want to do a straight up trade. Otherwise, I'm able to get Saquon and Puka. I'm a Vikings fan, so sad. What do you think? I think I would probably trade Jefferson for Saquon and Puka. I mean, if you are looking at Justin Jefferson here, he has significantly more upside than these other guys. We're 3-2. We kind of need points right now. Obviously, if we could say into Justin Jefferson in a depth piece and go get Austin Eckler, that's plan A, though. Now, Pooch says 12-team 4-0, full BBR, single flex. We have Watson, Goff, Stevenson, Roschon, Justice Hill, Charbonnet, Diggs, Keenan, Godwin, Hollywood, Flowers, Kittle. Any trade ideas? I would love to upgrade over Stevenson if we can somehow do it. Like if you can send, say, Hollywood Brown and Ramondre Stevenson to go get to a viable running back that we can start every week, that'd be a no-brainer. Like, let me give you some names, like some examples. Like, you can go get Kyron, go get Swift, go get Henry, go get Mixon. I would really like to do that. Now, Joey says 14-team PBR 2-3 double flex. We have Burrow, Kupp, Evans, Jacob, Swift, Andrews, Collins, Rice, Cousins, Charbonnet, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Bourne, Jamal. Cut Clyde Edwards-Helaire, cut Bourne, even in a 14-team league. I'd imagine there's someone better on the waiver wire. Obviously, I could be wrong here. If we could send Cousins to the Anthony Richardson team, I think that would be interesting if we can get back Anthony Richardson for the long-term upside. We don't need to start Cousins right now, because we are starting Burrow. Looks like Burrow is good to go going forward. Outside of that, very strong roster construction. I feel like we are very well balanced between running back and wide receiver there. And we do have some of that depth down there on that bench. But let me turn Super Chats back on. I believe we are caught up with all the questions. And as I do this, let me remind you, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% a positive match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get hooked up with a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. And it doesn't matter if you're new to Underdog or if you've been on Underdog for a while, as long as you used promo code FLOCK, Underdog hooked you up since it was our birthday with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard as well. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that while you can. Now, Carlos coming out saying 3-2, 12-team full BBR format, single flex. We have Hurts, CMC, Montgomery, AJ Brown, Evans, Musgrave, Hopkins, Amari, Flowers, Charbonnet, Nico, Purdy, Spears, Ford. What's a fair trade for Kelsey and any other trade recommendations? I mean, if we could go out there and send AJ Brown for Kelsey, I think that'd be a viable move in a single flex format, especially with how good our team is. If you don't want to do that straight up, maybe you could go ahead and see if we can send like DeAndre Hopkins, Amari, and go get Kelsey. That way, in reality, it's probably not going to be enough. You probably would have to just go with AJ Brown. And then also, I mean, I would say these guys down there at the bottom end, like you could see what you could get for someone like Brock Purdy. Because when you have Purdy, when you have Hurts, you're going to start Hurts every single week regardless, you know? But yeah, I think it would be very nice to trade for Travis Kelce on that team. Now, Jay coming out, happy to see you, my man, says, Dynasty, we have Lawrence, Pollard, Montgomery, Jefferson, Lamb, Waddle, T, Waller, and Jacoby. Got offered Bijan in a first for Jefferson. What do you think? Is it enough to move Jefferson where we're 4-1? I am very biased when I say this, and I understand I could 100% be wrong. But I think on a contending dynasty team where you are 4-1, to trade Jefferson for Bijan straight up is not the worst thing in the world. Like, I may rather have Bijan straight up in that scenario. Now, with that being said, getting a first-round pick just makes it an absolute no-brainer, my man. Now, Use Napkin says, Happy BR 12 team 3-2. We have Allen, CMC, Walker, Jefferson, Olave, Laporta, Taylor, Achane. On the bench, we have Jaleel, Flowers, Reed, Tutu. Got offered Cup for Jefferson. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Can everybody spam the chat? I think I already know what y'all are going to say. But what would you rather have rest of season? Who would you rather have rest of season? Are you going to go Cooper Kupp or are you going to go Justin Jefferson rest of season? Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson? 1 vote for Kupp. 2 votes for Kupp. Kupp, Jefferson. Yeah, it looks like the majority of people are going Cooper Kupp here. And yep, I think that's exactly how I would have it. If you look at my rest of season rankings, I do have about, I believe, Kupp, like wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, and Jefferson wide receiver 10. Now, Sal says, Happy birthday, King. 10 TBBR 4-1, starting Allen, AJT, Williams, Etienne, Kelce, DJ Moore. On the bench, we have Gabe Davis, Judy Pittman, Anthony Richardson, Dylan Warren. Just traded 2 and Brian Robinson for Etienne. Great deal. Great deal where we have Allen already and the long-term upside of Anthony Richardson. Phenomenal squad. I don't think we're looking to do anything here, my man. If you were, maybe if you could sell DJ Moore and get over to someone like a CD Lamb, that would be a no-brainer, but you're in a great spot. You're in a great spot. Now, Embry coming out saying, should I trade Amon-Ra, Puka, Pierce for Lamb, Swift, and Brees? 12-team PPR double flex. Just had HN go down, so running backs are Pollard and Pierce. Amon-Ra to Lamb, give me St. Brown. Puka to Swift, up to you. Pierce for Brees, definitely give me Brees. I think I would do this buying low on CD Lamb here. Cole says, who to target with Ford and Lockett? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. If you could get to like the CD Lamb, if you can get to CD Lamb, that'd be a no-brainer. If you're not going to be able to get there, maybe you go down a little bit and instead you go and look at like the Olave range. Okay. Now, LeBronosaurus Rex coming out saying, trade Mostert for Amon-Ra St. Brown after the Achane injury. I still would do that. Yeah, go get St. Brown. Cody says 12-team PPR format 1-4. Ayuk, James Cook for Lamb, any waiver wire claim. I think that it's a completely fair deal to go out there and get Lamb. And if we're going to backfill for that running back, probably either going to be looking at Roshan or the running back in Arizona, my friend. Ben's Mafia says, happy birthday, my boy. B-Day shot on me. Appreciate you, my man. And yes, if y'all remember, I used to go through and on our birthdays, I mean, 3 years ago, 2020, we were taking shots on the live stream, which was a little wild. 2 years ago, we were shotgunning on the live stream. And yes, come a long way. Don't think we can be doing that anymore, my man. We only have a small handful select of amount of Blazers. I mean, if we get anything on them, they would be ruined. They would be ruined. But Ansquiz says, Happy BR need a running back, traded Kirk for Gibbs. What do you think? I think you have the long-term upside when you make this play. I think maybe you sacrifice some of the short-term production, but if you didn't need Kirk right now, I mean, completely fine move. Daniel says, 10-team PPR 2-3. We have Cousins, Mostert, White, Madison, St. Brown, Keenan, Hollywood. Do we accept this trade? We give up Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor for Thielen, Swift, and Goddard. Jonathan Taylor to Swift, downgrade. Jefferson to Thielen and Goddard, massive downgrade. I understand we're 2-3 and we need points right now, but no, I don't think you can do this. I think you're just bleeding out way too much value where you have no shot to compete if you do. Now, Leonardo coming out says trade Walker and Amari for Tyreek in an 8-team PPR single flex league. We have Eckler, Kyron, Lamb, Myers, Hawkinson, and Stevenson. I'm 2-3. I think in an 8-team single flex league, my man, no brainer. Go get the best player of the deal. Go get a top 3 asset in fantasy. Go get Tyreek. SSG Yeti says 10-team PPR 3-2 quarterback problem. We have Lawrence, Etienne, Hall, Hill, Adams, Laporta, Wilson, Amari. And then on the bench, we have Cook, Goddard, Love, and no, you don't have a quarterback problem. I think Lawrence is just fine. Now, that being said, you do have enough firepower where if you wanted to go through and upgrade the quarterback position, you can if you would like. If you wanted to go ahead, if you wanted to send, say, Chris Godwin and Lawrence, if you can go get to like Lamar, let's do it. But I think Lawrence is not going to be great, but he'll be fine. Zach says 2-3 PBR, Stafford, Pollard, Ramadre, Adrian Brown, Hollywood, and then the flex, Evans, Lockett. On the bench, we have Foreman, White, Warren, Rasheed, Osborne. So with this team, this is a spot where you don't have like a ton of the wide receiver. I'm sorry. We have a lot of wide receiver depth, but we don't have a ton of the need to trade said wide receiver depth because ultimately at the end of the day, you're in a situation where we can start 4 wide receivers on a week-to-week perspective. I think you are in a situation where if we could go ahead, if we could potentially look to upgrade quarterback, this is where I would. I don't necessarily see an easy trade, though. I think we probably just let go of one of these guys like Deontay Foreman on the bottom of the bench, roster 2 quarterbacks, and play the matchups. Jay says Tua and Breeze for Jalen Hurts. Probably Tua and Breeze. Running backs are Sanders, JT. We have Tyreek as well. You're a great team. I think you want Tua and Breeze, though. Drew says, happy birthday. Hey, Mason, happy birthday. Thank you. 10-team PBR format. I'm 5-0. Do you think trading Jefferson for Ridley is a good idea or even worth the value? Or should I hold because I'm 5-0? So if you look at my wide receiver rankings right now, my man, rest of season, I have Jefferson at 10 and I have Ridley at 11. If you were 1-4, if you were 0-5, I would say 100% go get Calvin Ridley. However, on a 5-0 roster, I think you are in a spot where you're the person that can afford to hold for the long-term upside. Adam says 2-3, 12-team full BBR format single flex. We have Mahomes, Walker, Montgomery, Hill, Watson, Ferguson, Flowers. And then on the bench, we have Ramondre Ford, Jeff Wilson Jr., Deontay Dobbs, Rice, Charbonnet. Any trade ideas, or do we hold? I think we have a very well-balanced team. I mean, I would think we could go out there and afford to upgrade at tight end if we can. I mean, Jerome Ford was the sell-high guy for us a few weeks back. From what I've seen in the live streams now, nobody's selling Jerome Ford for anything. You're not going to be able to get much value. But if you can somehow go through and send like Ramondre, Jeff Wilson, and Jake Ferguson to go get to Hawkinson or go get to Andrews, I'd love that. Jonas says trade Jefferson for Etienne. We're 1-4, and we have Jonathan Taylor, James Cook. Yes, I would trade Jefferson for Etienne on a 1-4 roster. Zach says 3-2, 12-team PBR double flex. We have Geno, Richardson, Kyron, Jacobs, James Cook, Stevenson, Diggs, Lamb, Thielen, Addison, Andrews. Should we trade Thielen for Herbert? If it's Justin Herbert, yes. Khalil Herbert, no. Double flex format, wide receiver depth's going to matter a little bit more. I really hope we can put Richardson on our IR because the issue is then we're rostering 3 QBs, which obviously we do not want to be doing. Dave says 10-team BBR keeper league. We have Lawrence, Hill, Adams, Jacobs, James Cook, Laporta, Cup. And then on the bench, we have Ramondre, Zay, Palmer, Mims, Dobbs, Love. Any moves? Also have an offer for Mahomes and Hawkinson for Lawrence, Laporta, and a first-round pick. So typically in a keeper league, I'm never wanting to go through and selling our first-round picks unless you can keep like 6, 7, 8 players, where then it's a little bit more like a dynasty league. But if it's like a 3-player keeper league, then hell to the no. I mean, I would rather have Mahomes and Hawkinson. The issue is just in that keeper format, there are so many different moving variables depending on the amount of keepers and the keeper cost of these individual players, where I don't know how much value that first round pick has. If it's dynasty, it's easy. I know exactly how much value the pick has. Keeper league without all the exact details, it's very difficult, my friend. I mean, obviously Mahomes Hawkinson would really help you win this year. Now, Shade Tree says, how do we feel about Goddard, Barkley, and Love? Goddard holds. Barkley worrisome because of the offense, but you're not going to get anything. And then Jordan Love, you can go ahead and cut going into the bye week if you have someone better. Justice says, trying to trade for Cup. We have Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Hopkins, Gabe Davis, Godwin, and Brees. Montgomery, Kyron, Swift, JT. What running back wide receiver combo should we go move for him? If you wanted to send, say, like DeAndre Hopkins and David Montgomery for Cup, go for it. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, DeAndre Swift, DeAndre Hopkins, Jonathan Taylor. If you wanted to make any of those moves for Cup, you could. Another trade that you can make that we saw someone else pull off in the live stream literally just like 20 minutes ago is we saw someone trade Justin Jefferson for Cup straight up. I think that would be advantageous as well. Three little words that says, your thesis on JSN changed, what to expect. This is a rookie wide receiver that was an elite level prospect that has struggled through the first 4 weeks. But in the first 4 weeks of his NFL career, he's had 20 targets in comparison to DK Metcalf at 23. JSN is a buy low player for us. This is someone that we like for the long term. Obviously, you will not get much in the short term. Now, Caleb coming out says 12-team full BBR single flex. 3-2 rolling with Goff, Burrow, Kyron, Mixon, Achane, Tyreek, Hollywood, Hopkins, MT, Dobbs, Palmer, Jameson, Goddard, Ertz. Any moves I should look to make? Happy birthday, brother. Thank you so much, my man. I don't necessarily think that there's anything we need to do. Obviously, it's nice if Goff continues to expand his role and if Goff gets a little bit better here. We have Goddard looks viable as well. We have nice running backs. I mean, the only thing I'd say is like down there on the bench, I probably don't want to be rostering this many wide receivers in comparison to running backs, especially if we're dealing with the Devon Achane injury now. Probably want to pick up a few more running backs off the waiver wire for the bench. Jeffrey says, happy birthday, bro. Thank you, my man. 12-team non-PBR 4-bat 5-0. Traded Gibbs and Watson for White and Dell. Non-PBR league, give me White. Watson, Dell, give me Watson. Team is Allen, CMC, White, Achane, Cup, Amari, Hollywood, Dell, Andrews. We also have Gus, Mooney, Bateman, Ertz. Was it a good deal in any other moves? I mean, the thing is, you just can't rely on Dell. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, if we have Cup, Amari, and Hollywood. So we're fine. It's going to be a non-PBR format where we have the elite tight end, the elite quarterback, the elite running back. So we're chilling. Great team. I'd say cut Darnell Mooney at this point, especially in a non-PBR format. Go pick up someone off the waiver wire. And then honestly, for that flex spot, I probably would start Gus Edwards over Tank Dell in a non-PBR league. Ethan says 12-team PBR, 3 receiver, 1 flex. 3-2, we have Diggs, Olave, Zay, Montgomery, Ford, Madison, Sanders, Spears, Jaleel. Should I offer Montgomery for Ridley? 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, full PBR format. You're a little bit more inclined to do this. I think that you can get away with it if you want, knowing the trade value that we have with the majority of people. I think you're probably in a better spot to just kind of sit on here. I think you can ask for a little bit more. In that format, I think it does make sense. Now, Zachary says, 14-team Dynasty PBR, I'm 3-2. Should we trade Puka, Swift, DK for Jefferson, White, and Hall? Who is the bigger upside in Dynasty? Give me Hall over Swift. Give me Jefferson way over Puka and DK. It's Jefferson and Hall, not even remote close. I would rather have Jefferson over Puka, Swift, DK, Metcalf straight up in Dynasty. Like Jefferson is still arguably the 101 in a 1-quarterback Dynasty league. Nobody says pick 3 to start and flex. Evans, Collins, Myers, Higgins, and Christian Kirk. We're going to be going Collins. We are going to be going Evans. And pure call between Myers, Christian Kirk. Cannot start T. Higgins his first week back, though, especially if Burrow's not 100% healthy. But please make sure you're starting Evans and Collins. Now, Matt says 10-team full BBR, double flex 3-2. We have Tua, Aaron Jones, Rashad White, Madison, Jameson, Tyreek, Olave, Garrett Wilson, Zay, Jameson, Hawkinson. Any other moves I should make to get a running back? If you're looking at Alexander Madison, I mean, this has been a player that's been a sell-high for us. I just don't think he's good enough to be in a committee and productive in Minnesota. If you could go through and send, like, say, Zay Flowers and Alexander Madison and go get a viable running back like DeAndre Swift that we can play every week, I think that make a lot of sense. There's a chance that you could get that done, but you'd have to include one of like the exciting wide receivers like Zay Flowers, right? Like you're not gonna be able to get that done if you try to send a Jameson Williams. Zach says, I need a running back. Is Roschon worth a waiver priority pick? Yes, if you need a running back, go get Roschon. Mason says, single flex league 1 and 4. Offer to trade Gibbs for DeAndre Hopkins. Kyron for Devonta Smith. We have Jacobs, Kyron, JT, Javonte, CD. He has Henry, Roschon, Ayuk, Devonta Smith, Keenan, Hopkins, Kelsey. The thing is, my man, I just don't see like the value that we are getting here. Like, I think you were giving him a sweetheart deal on both ways. I mean, if you are looking at what we have when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, Gibbs. I definitely agree that on a 1-4 team, this is someone that we're looking to say has the long-term upside, but we don't care about the long-term upside. We need production right now, so it makes sense to see what we could get. I just don't know if Hopkins moves the needle. And then with Kyren Williams in this format where you can only start 3 wide receivers at the very most, Hopkins is a wide receiver that is Kyren Williams is a running back that is seeing every single snap, every single touch out of his backfield. And it's very hard to pivot off that unless it's the wide receiver that's locked and loaded as a wide receiver 1. So I understand the thought process. I just don't know if you're getting enough value. Lama Drama says 3-2 single flex league. We have Love, Eckler, Swift, Adams, Amon-Ra, Kincaid, Hall, White, Khalil, Spears, Amari, Watson, Palmer, Deontay. Yes, drop Love for Baker. And then should we trade for Mark Andrews? If you were looking to trade for Mark Andrews, I mean, the price, it depends on the price, of course. If you could send Rachaad White and Dalton Kincaid, then yeah, let's do it. If you could send, say, Amari Cooper and Dalton Kincaid, then yeah, let's do it. If you send Deontay Johnson and Dalton Kincaid, Christian Watson and Dalton Kincaid, throw in Joshua Palmer to any of those deals, then hell yeah, let's do it in a single flex league. And then, yeah, at this point, I think Jordan Love is a safe drop for Baker, especially if you just look at the fact that you're going to have to waste a raw spot if you decide to hold on to Love through his bye, and we need someone now, of course. John says, happy birthday. Think I missed the answer to the question earlier, but a triple flex, my bench is Judy, Javonte, Roshan, Brian Robinson, Johnson. Yes, sir, we did answer this earlier. I'd be happy to answer it again. We are going to be dropping Johnson for Zach Moss. The way that you worded it previously is like, do we drop any of these guys for? Okay, well, we're not going to go back to it, but we're going to go Johnson for Zach Moss. I think it does make a lot of sense, even in a 3-flex league. 3-flex league, we're a little bit more inclined to keep Quentin Johnson. This is someone that is going to continue to get better. But the thing is, if you were to see something happen to, Jonathan Taylor, then at that point, Zach Moss is like a must-start running back. Javier coming out saying 10-team full BBR single flex. We have Hurts, Kyren, Roshan Thielen, Adams, Schultz, Hollywood. And then on the bench, we have Moss, Tutu, Musgrave, Sanders. Any trades? I know we like the depth, 2 and 3. Thanks, man. No, thank you, my man. It doesn't matter. 10-team league. Single flex format. You're chilling regardless. Like, depth does not matter. You're in a great, great spot. I honestly don't look to do anything. I was previously saying Musgrave, someone we don't want really much to do with when we get Christian Watson back in, yada, yada, yada. But we have the elite wide receiver. We have the elite quarterback. We just need to be so damn active on this waiver wire. The only thing I'd possibly do is, depending on the reports that come out this week, I think we would potentially start Zach Moss over Roshan Johnson. Anthony says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. 12-team single flex league. Full BBR, 3 and 2. We have Lamar, Jefferson, Amari, Ramadre, Kyren, Ingram, Moss. And then on the bench, we have Geno, Rice, Brandon Cooks, Gainwell, Najee, Elijah Mitchell. Time to drop Ramadre, Najee, Cooks. No. Do not do that. I agree. They are not exciting, but you would drop Brandon Cooks. You would drop Rashee Rice well before you drop Najee Harris or Ramadre Stevenson. I understand why you're wanting to, and I'm not going to fault you for the thought process, but still super tough to go out there and make that call right now. Let's drop Brandon Cooks, go hit the waiver wire that way. And if you were going to drop someone, you drop Elijah Mitchell. The thing is, like, if you're looking at Najee, Jalen Warren goes down, Najee's a must-start running back. Like, you just kind of view him as Tyler Algier at this point. He's just a premium handcuff, right? And then I don't think we trade Jefferson unless we can go get back like a Cooper Kupp level player on a 3 and 2 team, because it does look like our team's good enough to be able to get by without him for the time being. But obviously, if you can throw him out there and get A.J. Brown and get Cooper Kupp, then we do. But bro coming out says 12-team standard, double keeper, single flex. I'm 3-2. We have Hurts, Eckler, Mostert, Kupp, Thielen, Kittle, White. And then on the bench, we have McLaurin, Dillon, Cooks, Johnson, Spears, Michael Thomas. Upgrade suggestions, or should we ride this out? So the thing is, we don't really have any value down on the bench. What player on the bench could we sell to upgrade somewhere? Is Jaleel the guy with the most value? Is it Michael Thomas? I don't know, but regardless, all I know is people aren't going to be excited to trade for him. I think you're in a great spot going forward. We get Eckler back. We get Kupp back. We have Raheem Mostert. We know Devon Achane. Great spot. You don't need to do anything. Okay. Ryan says giving Damian Pierce, Jordan Addison, Tajay Spears, getting Kenneth Walker, Rashee Rice. We would accept that. Give me Kenneth Walker. Bijan Roschon on the roster as well. Happy birthday. Thanks, Mason. Thank you so much, my man. Yeah, let's go get Kenneth Walker to pair up with Bijan. Now, Paul says, happy birthday, go. Thank you. 12-team BBR double flex, 3-2. We have Allen, Kyron, Etienne, Tyreek, Waddle, Laporta, Pittman, DJ, and then on the bench, we have Anthony Richardson, Dylan, Warren, Gibbs, JSN, Pitts. What are your thoughts? Any trades? Love from Australia. Appreciate you so damn much. Double flex league, wide receiver depth's going to matter a little bit more. We already have said wide receiver depth. I think it's a phenomenal team. I assume that we'd be 4-1, 5-0, not 3-2. I mean, with Pitts getting the bump in production this week, if you can find someone to give you a considerable amount for Pitts, I think that would make sense, because if you look at the underlying usage, I mean, you still had Jonnu Smith seeing a considerable amount of target volume. And I drafted a lot of Pitts, so I hope that I'm wrong. But if we could send Pitts and Michael Pittman and go get like CeeDee Lamb, I think it'd be an absolute no-brainer here in a double flex league where we are already starting Sam Laporta, right? Now, Will says, 12-team BBR, we lost Chubb. We have Jalen Hurts, Etienne, Barkley, Kupp, Lamb, Ingram, Kyron, Brian Robinson, Ford, London, Purdy. What trades do I make to improve this team? I mean, if we could go through and get any value from Brock Purdy, like go to the team that lost Anthony Richardson, go, hey man, I'm going to give you Brock Purdy and I'm going to give you Jerome Ford. Give me any running back improvement that you can, you know. I'm going to give you Brock Purdy and Brian Robinson. Give me any running back upgrade. Literally just the most marginal of upgrades. Just go get Rachaad White, you know. Because wide receiver, running back, you're going to be in a fine spot. I mean, we have Barkley coming back from injury. We have Kupp back from injury. I think just ultimately, if we have the elite quarterback in Jalen Hurts, any value that we could squeeze out of Purdy does make a lot of sense. Landon says, what wide receiver do we trade Puka for? Jefferson, if you're a losing team right now. I mean, if we're looking outside of that, Puka is in the same tier for me as Ridley, Olave, Smith, Waddle, rest of season. The wide receivers that are a tier above are going to be Jefferson, St. Brown, Lamb, Cooper. That's Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen. I'll trade Puka easily for any of those guys. Bryce says, I had Eckler, Kamara, Brees, JT, and traded Brees and Kamara for Pollard last week. Can you shout out Calvin Stromboli? He's carrying the comment section. Calvin Stromboli. Who's Calvin? I don't see anybody named Calvin Stromboli. I'm assuming this is one of those names where you're just trying to get me to say something funny that I don't understand on the live stream. So let me look up this name, see if there's anything to this. Okay, I don't know. Shout out Calvin Stromboli. Hopefully I'm not making a fool of myself. And yeah, tough to see this now, my man, but you still do have a great running back room. You still do. Justin says, sad day. Chubb team dropped their whole team because clear collusion trades got vetoed. Wild, but still going. Pick up Puka, Pittman, Ridley, Rashad. We need a running back. Oh, my God. Here's what you do, and I hate to say this. The commissioner needs to, I'm not even going to say, like, oh, pick up these guys, because this isn't acceptable. The commissioner needs to manually overtake this, add the players he dropped back to his team, and then it is just no more waiver wire moves for them rest of season, and set it where the starting lineup with the highest projection rest of the year is submitted for them. Even if the commissioner has to manually do it every single week, Anything else is going to ruin the league. Because then everybody who plays after this team's done that and they get a free win versus the teams that had to play him beforehand when he was still trying. No, you boot the owner immediately from the league. You never invite them back to the league. You manually add all the players they drop back to their team. You're not going to be picking through and going, oh, they just dropped Tyreek Hill. How much fab do I spend on Tyreek? No. Don't do that mess. Adams to Salah and Jacobs because the Raiders trash offensive line. Nobody's that excited about Jacobs, but the man just gets so much volume. No, I'm going to be holding on to Jacobs. Like you get less than you'd expect. Long says, happy birthday, my man. Thank you. 1-4 BBR, 1 flex. Traded JT Moss, Amari for Eckler. Oh, great deal. We have Tua, Watson, Pollard, Eckler, Achane, Brian Robinson, Algier, Charbonnet, Addison, blah, blah, blah. Great team. Love it, honestly. I mean, the only thing I'd say is if we're 1-4, if you wanted to send Tua in one of those long-term wide receivers like Zay Flowers and go get a stud receiver for right now, I'm sorry, Devon Achane and that wide receiver, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Okay. Now, Jaden coming out saying 12-team PBR 2 and 3. We have Mahomes, Eckler, Montgomery, AJ McLaurin, Hawkinson, Dotson, Roschon. Should I trade Breece Hall and Jaleel for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Miles Sanders? St. Brown over Hall for me in a full BBR format. Sanders over Jaleel. Yeah, I would honestly probably do it. I think it's a fair deal. I think it's a nice spot to switch. Booty Madon, always happy to see you, my man. Says, happy birthday. Let me know when you're in New York and I owe you a birthday dinner. Fun fact, I've never been to New York. I would love to go, my man. I would love to go. But should I trade Ramondre for Gibbs or Jefferson for A.J. Brown? 100% trade Justin Jefferson for A.J. Brown. And if it is a full BBR format where like you're 4-1 or 5-0 and you're just thinking long-term upside, I would not fault you at all if you wanted to go through and trade Ramondre for Gibbs there. Okay. Now, Jack coming out says 0-5. I have Richardson, and we're using Lawrence, Bijan, Madison, Waddle, Smith, Kelsey, Wilson, Pierce, Hall, London, Pittman, Achane. Any advice? 0-5 team, you have to take these guys that just got hurt. You have to sell them to get upgrades in the starting lineup. Right now, you have no other option. You have to go through, you have to send Devon Achane and go get an upgrade in the starting lineup. You have to send Anthony Richardson and go get an upgrade in the starting lineup. I mean, obviously, it sucks, but when you're 0-5, you can come back. It's unlikely, but I won my first fantasy football championship starting 1-4. You just have to change your mindset and understand that you're pretty much in the playoffs now. It's win or go home. Now, Brandon says, 10-team at BBR, 3 wide receiver double flex. We have Tua, Saquon, Pacheco, Najee, Spears, Olave, Ayuk, Terry, Myers, Sutton, Dell, Elijah, Kelsey, Ferguson. Need some help. What do you suggest? Good quarterback. Okay running back room. An elite tight end. The only thing I'd say is, like, if you can get any value for Ferguson, go send Ferguson and Terry McLaurin and go get a wide receiver upgrade. We would. When you have Kelsey, like, the value that you're going to get from Kelsey is that you don't have to roster a backup tight end from a week-to-week perspective. Wide receiver depth is going to matter a lot in this league where you have to start 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes every single week. So I'd probably just go ahead and I would see if we could just use an extra raw spot on a wide receiver or a running back, not the backup tight end. Now, Justin coming out saying 3-2, 12-team PBR, single flex. We have Hurts, Bijan, Walker, Olave, Waddle, Goddard, Flowers. And then on the bench, we have Watson, Wilson, Williams, Aaron Jones, Charbonnet, Johnson, Zeke, Musgrave. Any moves? Really strong team for the long-term upside that we have with a lot of these pieces down there on the bench. I'd say Ezekiel Elliott's maybe someone that we can just go through and look to cut, right? As even if you were to have Ramondre Stevenson go down. Like, he's still probably not going to be a viable start. But in terms of trades, you're in a great spot. Andrew says trading Purdy, Edwards, Gabe Davis, and London and Pitts for Rice, White, Ridley, Knox. Let's take out the players that have no value here. Rice, no value. Knox, no value. Edwards, pretty much no value. We traded Pitts. Let's go best player on the first side. Maybe Pitts. Who knows? Pitts for Rachaad White. Give me Rachaad White. London for Ridley. Give me Ridley. Gabe Davis, Edwards, Purdy. Who the hell cares? Let's go ahead and let's get the best two players. Let's go Rachaad White and Calvin Ridley. You're just clouding it up with a bunch of junk that makes it harder to evaluate. Redeem says Bijan or ETN rest of season. I mean, I have a ton of both these running backs. I actually have more Travis Etienne with how cheap he's been. But I mean, we're still going to go Bijan over him relatively easily. Now, Miguel coming out. Thank you, my man. Says 4-1, 12-team PBR format. We have Fields, Burrow, Waddle, Higgins, Wilson, Dotson, Moore, Dotson, Brian Robinson, Bijan, Kamara, Montgomery, Kelsey, Musgrave. Should we trade Waddle and Brian Robinson for Amon-Ra St. Brown? Thank you. If it's a one flex league, I'm completely fine going ahead and doing this. Like, I actually think that Jalen Waddle is an intriguing buy low candidate, but I would say the same thing when it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a real intriguing buy low candidate as well. So yeah, I think we go ahead and make this move, my man, because we have the depth to get it by. Batman Gaming says, happy birthday, brother. Everybody drop a like. Always happy to see you, my man. And thank you so much. And yes, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we've been live streaming now for this point for about 3 hours. It is my birthday today, ladies and gentlemen. And for that reason, Underdog has hooked everybody up here with a Justin Herbert special pick'em for this week, more than less than half a total yards. Only going to be for people who use promo code FLOCK. And on top of that, if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, you're going to be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for Thursday night. And on top of that, you're going to get a 100% deposit match and our rest of season fantasy football rankings with promo code FLOCK. Super happy that I'm able to get y'all all of that, and make sure you are taking advantage. Thank you so much. Javier says Hollywood Thielen for Olave. Oh, get Olave there, my man. I don't care if you have zero depth. I think we're going to, unless like a 14-team league. Or a 12-team league, multiple flex spots. If it's like a league with only 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, give me Olave. Only fantasy card says PBR, lost Jefferson. Should we package Laporta Puka for A.J. Brown? And 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. If you have another tight end, then sure, I'm fine with it. Now, Caleb says trade Jefferson and Allen for Tua and Chase. Yes, I think you would at this point. Chase looks so good, and obviously with the Jefferson injury, kind of have to. Gabriel says 10-team PBR format, 3-2. We have Mahomes, Eckler, Pollard, Chase, St. Brown, Andrews, Lamb, Brees, Ramadre, Amari, Higgins, Watson. What trades are we thinking for later? Happy birthday. God bless you. Just loves you. Appreciate you so damn much, my man. I mean, here it's really nice getting Eckler back in. We have 2 top 5 running backs. We have a top 5 wide receiver. We have 2 top 10 wide receivers. We possibly have 3 top 10 wide receivers with CeeDee Lamb. Phenomenal team. We have the elite quarterback. We have the elite tight ends. The only thing I'd say is if we can go through and every 2-for-1 deal that we can make to upgrade those players on the bench probably would be advantageous just because we are so damn strong here, specifically at the top. And we have that depth as well. I don't think there's really anything else I mean, that's just a phenomenal team. Phenomenal team. Jay Soisey coming out saying 18 PBR single flex, 0-5. We have Burrow, Kyron, Barkley, Achane, Pacheco, Tyreek, Adams, Kupp, Laporta, Jaleel, Javonte Love, Jaden. Should we trade Barkley and Achane for JT and Brees? Achane or Brees? Give me Brees. Barkley to JT. Honestly, up to you. Full PBR format. Maybe. I don't know. I think we will go ahead and do this, especially on an 0-5 team where you're going to say, in Mason, come on, I can't wait for Barkley. I can't wait for Achane to get healthy. I need production right now. Ryan says, brutal game, but OU still sucks. I know, my man. But 2-3, 10-team at PBR, 1 flex. Kamara or Olave? I probably prefer Olave. I know most people would rather have Kamara. We have Hall, Montgomery, Cook at running back. Lamb, Flowers, Leonard, wide receiver. So, have PBR league. The thing is, like, if you're just getting the cheapo receptions for Alvin Kamara, it's not going to be enough. Well, yeah, I think we honestly just go ahead and take Olave. I think you're in a very good spot, especially at the running back position. We're going to start Hall every week now. So start Montgomery every week in a half PPR league. Rob says, happy birthday, G. Thank you, my man. 18 PPR single flex. We have Herbert, Hall, Swift, Jefferson, AJ, Lamb, Hawkinson, Judy, Gibbs, JSN, Dell, Love, Javonte, Charbonnet. 3 and 2, just lost Jefferson. Any suggestions, or do we sit still? Specifically with an 8-team league, 1 flex, when you lose Jefferson, you're going to sit still, right? We've seen some of those other teams where it's like a 12-team format. You start 3 wide receivers, 2 flex spots. You lose Jefferson, it's going to be very difficult to go through and find someone else that you are able to pivot to. No, in an 8-team league, you're going to be just fine. You don't need to worry. You don't need to panic. I think that honestly, we just kind of sit here and wait till Jefferson comes back. Carson says 8-team PPR double flex. We have Allen, Bijan, Montgomery, Diggs, Lamb, Hawkinson, Olave, Thielen. And then on the bench, we have Pierce, Sanders, Myers, Godwin, 1 and 4. Any moves? Eight-team league. I mean, I would love to go out there, build around the elite level quarterback and tight end, which we're already kind of doing. The only thing I'd say is if we can take like Adam Thielen and Miles Sanders, go send them and get an even better wide receiver in return. I think that would make sense in an 8-team format. Yeah, great team. Great team. Jeremiah says 10-team non-PPR, Jacobs or Saquon rest of season. We're going to go Jacobs. Landon says Lawrence, Jacobs, Etienne, Hill, Puka, Ferguson, Hall, Rice. 10-team full PPR format. Any ideas? Hard to know without seeing the bench here. I'll just say, I mean, really do not be relying on Rice, my man. I mean, if Rice is someone that you're telling me we're having to submit in our starting lineup, actually, you're going to be in a world of pain in a 10-team league. Batman Gaming says PPR pick 3, Puka, Ridley, Amari, Godwin, DJ Moore. Different league, Osborne or Gabe Davis. We actually just made our wide receiver rankings. We have Gabe Davis at 34 this week. KJ Osborne at 37. We'll go Gabe Davis. And then between Puka, Ridley, Amari, Godwin, DJ Moore, we're going to go DJ Moore, Ridley, and Puka. Amari is the top matchup going up against San Fran. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we've been live for about 3 hours. Let me go pee. Okay, I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but Michelle coming out saying just traded Amon-Ra, Rashad, Charbonnet for Diggs. Now we have Lamar, Jacobs, James Cook, Hill. Okay, great move. I was worried a little bit if this is like a super deep league, then probably don't want to do it. But if you're looking at like a loaded team like this, it's always a spot where you kind of opt to go ahead and see if we can get the best player, right? I mean, that's going to be the primary thing that we care about. And obviously, Stephon Diggs right now is a locked and loaded top 3 to 4 wide receiver every week. Now, Ben says PPR redraft, 1 flex, 3 wide receiver, 10-team league. We have Allen, Walker, James Cook, Puka, Thielen, St. Brown, Hawkinson. And then on the bench, we have Jefferson, Debo, Moss, Richardson. I'm 5-0, got offered Montgomery and Aaron Jones for TJ Hawkinson. I'm fine if you wanted to go ahead and make this play, specifically with the way that the usage is trending when it comes to Kenneth Walker. I do want to say, though, I mean, just think about what you have. With the target share with TJ Hawkinson. Like, TJ Hawkinson is going to be seeing even more targets now, considering the fact that you have no Jefferson here, you know? So I would rather be buying Hawkinson than selling, but it's a very nice price point. Now, Son Basol says, happy birthday. Thank you. 12 team PPR 2 and 3. We have Stafford, Thielen, Davis, Cup, Pollard, Swift, Godwin. On the bench, we have Goff, Michael Thomas, Atwell, Ingram. Any possible trades and upgrades? I would love to get a better quarterback if we can. I mean, here the issue is we don't necessarily have a ton of value that's disposable. I mean, you're having to start Thielen and Gabe Davis. So instead, we probably focus in on keeping Goff and just sending like Evan Ingram and Adam Thielen to see if we can get a wide receiver upgrade if possible. So, I mean, you don't list out a starting tight end here, so I'm assuming we don't have to start a tight end in that league. But Alchemy of Happiness, welcome to being a member of the flock, my friend. Wood says, would you trade Devonta Smith and Henry for A.J. Brown and Gabe Davis? Probably not. Nate says 4-1, 12 team at BBR format. We have Allen, Swift, Saquon, Walker, AJ, Olave, Hawkinson. We dish Pittman for Swift and Evans/Achane for Olave and White. Pittman for Swift, great move. Evans to Olave, upgrade. Achane to White, up to you. Probably Achane long term, but I mean, it is what it is. Should we trade White for Gibbs on the bench regardless? If it is a full BBR format, then maybe. If they're on the bench regardless, then obviously it makes some sense on a 4-1 team. Probably don't do it just yet. But if it was a full PPR league, I think we would. I just think you want Gibbs in that full PPR league. Now, YRN Leon says 1-4, 12 team PPR. We have Love, HN, ETN, Chase, Hollywood, Wilson, Laporta. And then on the bench, we have Russ, Amonra, Addison, Dell, Jameson, Moss, Sanders, Ford. Happy birthday, brother. Appreciate you, my man. I mean, great team. I mean, I'll go through and start Amonra St. Brown, obviously, if we can. It would be really nice if we could also go through and send, like, say, Hollywood Brown and Russell Wilson to get a viable quarterback or even a better receiver, right? Like, send Garrett Wilson and, say, Russell Wilson and go get a quarterback in the Lamar Jackson range. I think that would make a lot of sense if possible. Now, Brandon says, trying to choose between Puka and Breeze for the flex. It's a 12-team PPR league. My running backs are Bijan Jacobs. My receivers are Kupp and Adams. I don't know. I have literally no idea. Great team. I mean, right now, for our wide receiver rankings, we have Puka wide receiver 11. For our running back rankings, we have Breeze running back 9. I do not know right now. We are going to have to look a little bit more into the projections for these guys with these individual matchups. Obviously, if Brees was still going up against Denver, it would be easy. But that's hard. I think you can't go wrong either way. Roberto says, happy birthday, Mr. Flock. 1-4, 12-team PBR, where we have Burrow, Bijan, Pierce, Devontae, Olave, Palmer, Rice, Wilson, Hawkinson. What waiver wire do you recommend? Mercado, Spears, or another? We're going to go with the starting running back in Arizona. The reason being is if you're 1-4, it's not like we really care about the Spears upside if Derrick Henry were to go down, right? No, if we're 1-4, it's more like, okay, what kind of production are we getting right this second? So I think we go ahead and we just get the starting running back in Arizona. Christopher says 12-team at BBR. We have Lamar, Stevenson, Nico, Puka, Kelsey, Kupp. And then on the bench, we have Watson, Hopkins. Was offered Andrews and Eckler for Kelsey and Kupp or Jacobs for Kupp. Wait, what? Okay, we were offered Andrews and Eckler for Kelsey and Kupp. Kelsey to Andrews, massive downgrade. Kupp to Eckler, upgrade. Or Jacobs for Kupp. So we do need a running back here. I don't think you're getting a good price on either one. If I had to choose one, we'd probably go with the Andrews and Eckler deal. But honestly, I'd assume we could get a little more for Kupp. Elite Henry says, happy birthday, Mason. Do we trade Kupp, Saquon, in a bench piece for Waddle and Eckler? My other running backs, Gibbs, have BBR format. Wide receivers are Kupp, Pittman, T, and Evans. Thanks. So thank you, my friend. Kupp to Waddle, downgrade. Saquon to Eckler, massive upgrade. I think we would do this if your other running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. And obviously, I mean, we don't really care if we have to throw in like a guy like Hollywood Brown to get it done. That's what those depth receivers are for. I think that's a more reasonable price point on Eckler, who obviously is someone that we want to trade for if we can. Alchemy of Happiness says 10 TPBR 3 and 2. Hurts, Bijan, Ford, Lamb, Ayuk, Laporta, Amari, Godwin, Hollywood, Flowers, Brian Robinson. Thinking of upgrading RB2. I mean, I would love to sell high on Jerome Ford. I mean, it's much harder to do it than it was 2 weeks back. The trade would be like Zay Flowers. I think that's going to be the wide receiver people are excited to get. If you could send like Zay Flowers and Brian Robinson, Zay Flowers and Jerome Ford to get to DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, like at that range, I think that would be interesting. But obviously much easier said than done. Now, the credit genius, always happy to see. My man says full BBR, 3 wide receiver, 12-team league. We have Allen, Diggs, Puka, Debo, Moss, Bijan, TJ, Evans. And then on the bench, we have Myers, Palmer, Sanders, Hunter, Chuba. What are your thoughts? And should we trade a wide receiver for a running back, Swift or Kyron? 3 wide receiver league. I mean, we're typically building around wide receiver a little bit more. Obviously, I mean, if we're sitting here with Zach Moss in our starting lineup, it does make some sense to go through and make a play. But ultimately, at the end of the day, no, I honestly don't even think we do. Because if we go through and we send, say, I mean, you can send out an offer. Say, hey, I'll give you Debo Samuel for Swift or Kyron, right? And if they accept, then cool. I mean, if we get that nice value, but as long as we are getting an upgrade with value as well. Because ultimately, if we do sell a wide receiver, then a week from now, we could be in a spot where we need a wide receiver in a league where we can start 4 of them on a week-to-week perspective in a full PPR format. So it just does come down to the price. Ethan says, 8-team league, someone dropped Myers. I dropped Moss. Do I prioritize Moss or Jacoby? Receivers are Chase, Lamb, Palmer, Collins, Dell. Running backs are Barkley, Gibbs, Hall, Swift, Spears. Probably prioritize, oh my gosh. I think Myers is a much higher floor. Moss is a much higher ceiling. Probably prioritize Myers. I would drop Dell for him easily. And then I would drop Spears for Zach Moss as well. But GG coming out. Let me see if we can still pull this up. No, we can't. We're going to have to go through and pivot this over to the other screen. So as I do this, let me remind you, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat. Find it in the description. Find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. You're going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em. More than less than half a total yard for the Thursday night game. And because it's our birthday, Underdog's hooking everybody up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em. More than less than half a total yard as well. So please make sure you are going to take advantage of that. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, GG says, 10-team BBR 1 flex. We have Jalen Hurts, Chase, Cup, Ayuk, Evans, Addison, Mostert, Brees, Pierce, Stevenson, Javonte, Ingram. Should we trade Cup and Ingram for Andrews and Kyron? Very fair deal. I mean, I'm fine if you wanted to go through and do this specifically in a 10-team league with 1 flex. I'd probably end up keeping Cup because he's the best player, but it is a fair deal if you wanted to. Joseph says, 12-team map BBR single flex. Yep, we need a running back with James Conner going down. I mean, wide receivers, we have some guys that are expendable. Luke Musgrave is someone that we'd easily throw in a deal. So if you could go through and take like Christian Kirk, especially now that Addison's viable, go spend like Christian Kirk and Luke Musgrave and go get a running back like Pacheco, Rashad White, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Alvin Kamara. With the James Conner injury, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Now, give more, always happy to see you, my man. And let me give another shout. I mean, we were drinking, I mean, hell, that's what we're drinking literally right now is out of our Morning Man jar. Give more as the hookup with Morning Man. Like Athletic Greens, but better. But happy birthday, sir. 12-team standard league. We got Richardson, CMC, James Cook, Taylor, Puka, AJ Brown, Laporta. And then on the bench, we have Barkley, Jefferson, Olave, Hunt, Jaleel, Dobbs. Who would you trade for Fields in any start-sit advice? Phenomenal team. Obviously, it sucks to have the Jefferson injury. In terms of changing the starting lineup around, wide receiver, we're going to go Brown, Puka, running back, CMC, Cook, Barkley in the flex spot for now. Long-term, Taylor will slide in. And then if we have a losing record, if you wanted to send like Anthony Richardson and Chris Olave to go get a top 3 quarterback like Hurts, Allen, Mahomes, those would be the guys that I would target. If you really wanted to do it for Fields, you can. I'll try to go get those other guys first. Nick says, what running back should we trade for Mike Evans? Full PPR formats. The Mike Evans range, you're going to be looking at Pacheco, White, James Cook, Pierce, Kamara, Mostert. That's about the range you'll be looking at. Colton says, Roschon DeBicardo or Foreman off the waiver wire. I'm going to prioritize them in that. Actually, we'd go Arizona first, then Roschon, then Foreman. NFL Blitz coming out saying, 12-team PPR, should we trade Saquon and Amari for Eckler and Deontay? 12-team Superflex, trade Daniel Jones and Adams for Lawrence and Addison. Probably keep Daniel Jones and Adams unless you're desperate for a quarterback. I understand it's Superflex, but still. And then the first deal, I definitely would rather have Austin Eckler. Now, Gianni says, who do we trade Debo for? We have Diggs, AJ, and Pollard. I have no idea. I don't know, my man. I mean, I can tell you our rest of season rankings where we have Debo Samuel. I have Debo Samuel at wide receiver 22. I have Debo in the same tier as Amari, T. Higgins, and Garrett Wilson. So if you wanted to get rid of Debo, that'd be about the range. Now, Timeout Sports says, happy birthday. Thank you. PBR single flex. We have Herbert, Keenan, AJ Brown, Hopkins, Pittman, Thielen, Mostert, Henry, Madison, Moss, Montgomery, Higbee. Should we trade for Laporta? My man, it's going to be so expensive to trade for Laporta right now. With Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back, I don't think you should try. I think instead, if you were going to trade for a tight end, I'd rather overpay for someone like TJ Hawkinson. If you could go through and send like Pittman and Thielen, Hopkins and Pittman, Hopkins and Thielen, Alexander Madison and one of those wide receivers, Zach Moss and one of those wide receivers, and go get TJ Hawkinson, I'd much prefer a move like that, my friend. Now, XE says, happy birthday, my man. 2 and 3, 10-team PBR format. We got Purdy, Watson, Pollard, Montgomery, Gibbs, Edwards, Spears, Adams, Ayuk, Watson, Addison, Palmer, Moore, Andrews. Any moves? I mean, I'd love to upgrade quarterback if we could. I guess we'd have a little bit of wide receiver depth now that we have Addison as a viable guy. So if you wanted to see if we could go through and send like Christian Watson and Brock Purdy or Christian Watson and Deshaun Watson, go get to like Lamar, let's do it. Favi says, which two to start this week? Addison, Nico, or Flowers? We're going to be going with Nico and Addison, my friend, even though Flowers looks exciting. Dylan says, 10-team PPR 3 and 2. Traded Lockett and Mostert for AJ Brown after week 2. Great deal, my man. Team is now Love, Eckler, Pollard, Mixon, Diggs, Ridley, AJ Brown, Ingram. Aaron Jones, Hollywood, some handcuffs. Phenomenal deal. And yeah, when you have a team that's this solid, we can afford to go out there. We can afford to send like Calvin Ridley and get back Jalen Hurts and get back Patrick Mahomes, get back Josh Allen. You can afford an elite level quarterback when you are just crushing that way. Now, High Violet says, happy BR 12-team league. Single flex, 4 and 1. We have Hurts, Smith, Addison, Walker, Brees, Ingram, Kyron, Deontay, Jameson, White, Gainwell, Bigsby. Was offered Amon-Ra for Brees Hall and Rashad White. What are your thoughts? I think you have a great team. I don't mind this idea, but I think you're just paying too much. I think that if you are making this kind of move, you should be able to at least keep Rashad White and not sell all of our running back depth. So if you want to sell Hall for Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm in. But I don't know if we're going to be adding Rashad White to it. Now, Jonathan says, 10-team PPR 2 and 3. Start Cousins, Jacobs, Olave, Kyron, AJ, Pacheco, Ferguson. And then on the bench, we have Burrow, Sanders, Watson. Any improvements to make? I mean, I think it would make a lot of sense if you could send, like, say, Kirk Cousins and Isaiah Pacheco after this week, or maybe Cousins and Ferguson to go get a viable upgrade in the starting lineup. Then we're starting Burrow over Cousins. I think, honestly, I'd probably rather a Burrow. I mean, now that it looks like he's a little bit better, and at the same time, Cousins no longer has Jefferson. So if we could try to squeeze some value, I think that'd make a lot of sense, especially under the circumstances where I mean, you have like Anthony Richardson going down, so you could probably get some value from Cousins here. I am reading super chats, my friend. That's literally what we are doing right now. We are going through and reading them in order, my friend. That's what this is. But Stefan, always happy to see you, my man. Saying, got the trade of Ramadre Amadris Sutton for Jefferson and Kyron Williams, but I have a corrupt commissioner who undermined my trade and offered a counter. So I had to settle for getting Jefferson and James Cook. I overpaid. I'm confused what happened here, my man. Y'all have commissioners that have way too much power. Here's what the commissioner's job is. 1, make sure everybody shows up to the draft. 2, make sure everybody pays for the league. And 3, get everybody paid for the league. That is the job of a commissioner. If he's reading into your trades, altering them, this man needs to be voted out. You need to have an insurrection. You need to have an uprising in your league, my man. That is wild. That is wild. Okay. Now, Bertrand says, DeMarco or Jeff Wilson, we have H. Honestly, up to you. I think you can go either way. Now, Andrews says, pick 3 to start. Hollywood, Andrews, Drake, DK, Thielen. DK, Thielen, and Andrews, as much as it pains me to say. I just hate starting tight ends in the flex. Now, Lake coming out saying, Sut Mason PPR League was offered Smith or Debo for Kyron Williams. I'd rather have Kyron Williams over both guys. I mean, even if our running backs are loaded, I know our wide receivers aren't. No, I mean, the thing is with Kyron Williams, he's seeing literally every single snap, every single touch in his backfield. He just has so much more value here. Now, Super Noob coming out saying, happy birthday, trade Allen for Hall and Lamar. Looking at our team with the HN injury, yes, Hall would slide in and make a difference for us immediately. So, yes, I think we would trade Josh Allen for Breece Hall and Lamar Jackson here, my friend. Now, Jake says, should I drop Jordan Love or CJ Stroud or both and pick up Stafford? I would drop Jordan Love and pick up Matthew Stafford, keep CJ Stroud, play the matchups between them, and try to get KJ. No, yeah, just drop Love and go pick up Stroud. In this range, you can roster 2 quarterbacks. Keep Jamison Williams. I mean, you don't want to keep roster Jamison Williams in his first week back. Go through and go, he didn't play enough for me. Even though when they said he's going to be on a snap count, So I think you're going to be fine with Jamison. Just make a simple cut. Drop Love. Go pick up Stafford. Isaiah says, happy birthday, Lamb Kyron for Hill Javante. We have ETN, JT, HN. Yes, I would do it. I think the gap from Lamb to Tyreek Hill is a large enough gap to include Kyron Williams. Now, Gerver coming out says, 10-team Matt BBR, 3-2 double flex. We have Allen, Waddle, Puka, ETN, Kyron, James Cook, Pitts, Frymuth. And then the bench, we have Garrett Wilson, Saquon, Sutton, Spears, Pickens, JSN. Should we trade Mostert and Saquon for A.J. Brown? Not in a double flex format where you have the Devon Achane injury. I mean, ultimately, you have to remember that Devon Achane going into week 4 was the number one player in fantasy football. Not the number one running back, not the number one guy from, no, he had the most fantasy points through the first 3 weeks of anybody. Then Achane broke out, then obviously things changed. But yeah, I don't think you're giving anybody a sweetheart deal on Mostert's more than a throw-in. That's what we'll say. Max says trade Mostert and Jameson for Aaron Jones and Flowers. Fair deal, up to you. I think you can do this if you'd like. This is better than the other one. Ian says PBR, who sits out? Bijan, Kyron, Montgomery, Mostert. Oh my gosh. I hate to say it, you probably bench Kyron Williams. I don't think you can bench Mostert with no Achane. 84 Bandit says, just got offered Ridley for Lamb in Happy BR League. Do we accept? No, I'd rather have CeeDee Lamb over Calvin Ridley. Now, Steven says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. 4-1. Amon-Ra, Addison for Jefferson and Mixon. 4-1 team, yes, we can make this deal. I have St. Brown ranked over Jefferson, but I think we're getting an upgrade from Addison and Mixon for the long term here, especially as we look at this roster. Obviously, after this, we are going through and we're fighting for our lives. What we could also say is tell the owner, hey man, I'll do this with you, but let me have one more week of Amon-Ra St. Brown because I mean, we have no Deontay Johnson, so we have no George Pickens this week because they're respective bye weeks. So I think maybe we ask for another week and tell them we'll do it next week. Vinny says, happy birthday, bro. Keep doing you. Thank you so much, my man. Really appreciate you. Ryan says, trade Jacobs, Higgins for Jonathan Taylor Waddle. We're 2-3. I think we would. If we're 2-3, we need points right now. And obviously, Higgins with his injury and the Burrow injury, you have no idea when you're getting them. Now, Jeffrey says 4-1, 12 team, half BBR format, double flex. Should we trade away Garrett Wilson? Who we're going to keep in the 10th for Jefferson, or can we can't keep. We're 4-1. We're looking to contend right now. Yes, we would go ahead and do this. Ultimately, I mean, I've talked about this time and time again. I mean, I primarily play in dynasty fantasy football leagues. Like, I love dynasty. That's how I got started on YouTube. I'm sure y'all have heard me say this a million times by now. I'm all about the long term. I'm all about dynasty. However, if you are in a keeper league, you don't want to be thinking long term. If you're in a shallow keeper format, it's just what points am I going to get right now? Now, Just the Chill Gamer says PBR single flex. Need a wide receiver. Should we trade Walker or Pacheco? We have Bijan. Probably neither for the time being. If you wanted to go through and trade a running back, what you're probably going to do is wait until after Pacheco crushes the Broncos with everybody watching on Thursday night. James says 3-2, 12 team BBR. Love Bijan, Brees, AJ Brown, T. Kittle, Watson. On the bench, we have Gibbs, Dotson, Jameson, Rasheed, Hubbard, Watson. Do we trade AJ for Jefferson, trade for a quarterback, and any ideas? Honestly, I'm not going to trade AJ Brown for Justin Jefferson on a 3-2 team. I think that the play would be to trade for a quarterback. I think that we just, honestly, we don't even trade for a QB. You just got to change the bottom of this roster. I think it's safe to cut John Dotson. Cut Dotson, go pick up another quarterback off the waiver wire. You can cut Love for another quarterback off the waiver wire, roster two of these guys, and play the matchup from week to week perspective. Drew says 10-team PBR 5-0. We lost Jefferson. We have Fields, Pollard, Swift, Olave, Moore, Ingram, Kmet, Madison, Gabe Davis, Dell, Javonte, Moss, Herbert. Who should be my flex this week? We're going to be fine. 5-0, losing Jefferson. I mean, hopefully we get Jefferson. I'm assuming we get Jefferson back in the long term, and this is a playoff team. I mean, if we're going to be looking at who we're playing now, I mean, you're playing Pollard, Swift at running back, Olave, Moore, wide receiver, Ingram over Kmet at tight ends. And then I think we will be going with, I don't know, tough spot. Maybe Zach Moss in the flex. Full PBR format, probably not. Maybe instead Gabe Davis. There's Zach Moss or Gabe Davis in the, or Alexander Madison. Up to you there. Now, Jordan says 10-team PBR 2-3. We have Richardson, Daniel Jones, Bijan, Walker, Gibbs, Ford, Hunt, Madison. Diggs, Adams, Nico, Deontay, Judy, Johnston, Waller. Was offered Burrow, Olave, Hall for Diggs and Bijan. So Diggs to Olave, downgrade. Bijan to Hall, downgrade. Picking up Burrow, not nearly enough, even if we need a quarterback. I'm thinking about swapping Bijan with Kenneth Walker. Then Kenneth Walker to Hall. Probably a downgrade, but not nearly as bad. We are essentially be trading Diggs for Olave and Burrow. You're still trading too much there, my man. I mean, if we swap Bijan with Walker and then we swap Burrow with like Josh Allen, then yes, we do it, you know. But I think you're so far off of that price point. You would be paying way too much. Landon says 10-team full BBR single flex league. We have Lawrence, Jacobs, Etienne, Hill, Puka, Ferguson, Hall, Rice, Jaleel, Dotson, Spears, JSN, Stafford, Michael Wilson, Keaton Mitchell. I'm 3-2, but happy at the moment. Yeah, I think you are. I mean, also it could be interesting to go to the Richardson team, go to the Daniel Jones team and go, hey guys, I'll give you Matthew Stafford. Just give me a slight upgrade at running back. Give me a slight upgrade at wide receiver, right? And then include one of those wide receiver or running back twos there to get that deal done. I think that could be interesting considering the fact, actually, no, we have Lawrence. Never mind. For whatever reason, I thought that read Lamar. No, then actually we're chilling with this team as is. I think you're in a good spot. Keaton Mitchell's someone that you can have on your IR. If he's on your active roster, I'd say, probably not. Probably cut him, pick up someone else off the waiver wire. The Dallas says just traded Justin Jefferson and Jahmyr Gibbs for Swift and Devontae Adams. Adams over Jefferson. We're 3-2 double flex format. Swift over Gibbs. Great move. Great move. I mean, obviously it sucks having to take this loss, but I mean, getting something rather than nothing does make a lot of sense. Yeah, I think you did save your season. I think you made a great move there. Okay. Now, Jalen says 10-team PPR double flex. We have Lamar, Diggs, Lamb, Eckler, HN, Komet, Addison, Myers, T, Garrett Wilson, Pitts, Warren, 2 and 3. Any suggestions? I don't necessarily think that we have anything right now. I mean, the issue is we just have to stay alive, right? I mean, you are sitting with Eckler coming back this week, but you have no HN. You have no T. Higgins. The goal is stay alive, hold on, stay in the mix. And then as we get these players expanding their roles, as we get these players healthier later in the season, we should be in a much better spot. Jack coming out saying 10-team PPR single flex. We have Ridley, Puka, Kupp, Diggs, Gibbs, Brian Robinson, Swift, Andrews, Fields, and Michael Thomas. I have a trade Puka for Mixon to do it or try to make another one. I'm 1-4 because of tough matchups. Can everybody spam the chat? Your running backs right now are DeAndre Swift, and Brian Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Joe Mixon or Puka? Mixon or Puka, please spam the chat. Puka, 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 Mixon, Puka. I'm assuming this means Mixon. Puka, Puka, Mixon, Puka, Puka, Puka. Looks like the majority of people are telling you to go ahead and keep Puka here, my man. Now, our next switch coming out from Superman says, 2 and 3, 12-team PPR single flex, 2 offers, trade Hill for Brown and DJ Moore, or Hill for Brown and Puka. Single flex, I probably keep Tyreek Hill. Especially if you have Zay Flowers. If I was going to make one of these, I don't know. I probably do neither. I just view Tyreek Hill as the second best asset in fantasy football right now, only behind CMC. Booty Madonna out again says 12-team full PPR format 4-1. Here's the squad. We have Mahomes, Kamara, Javonte, Jefferson, DJ, Keenan, Kittle, Pitts. I'm getting offered AJ Gibbs for Jefferson or Ramadre. But yeah, let me know what you let me know when you're in it. Okay. When you're in New York, IG is who is done. Okay, let me go ahead and take a picture of this, my man, so I remember. No plans to go to New York anytime soon, but hopefully I remember this if we do. Perfect, got to pick. Let me make sure it's readable. Okay, yes, we're good. All right, so 4-1, we are thinking long-term. A.J. Brown versus Jefferson. Yeah, A.J. Brown, Gibbs versus Ramadre. Gibbs. Yeah, even if we're 4-1, I think we go through and we still sell Justin Jefferson, even if he does have that long-term upside. If we can get A.J. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like Ramadre, Gibbs, a long-term, Gibbs may be better. I know Gibbs isn't doing anything right now, but Ramadre's a bum. The New England Patriots offense is horrendous. And yeah, A.J. Brown still has an elite level ceiling long-term, and obviously he's playing right now. Jacob says 12-team PPR 2 and 3 ranked rest of season. Bijan, Swift, Hall, Kyron. We have flockfantasy.com up right now, so I can do this for you literally as we speak. Okay. So who are we looking at? Bijan, I've ranked as RB2 rest of season. Swift, I have as RB13. Hall, I have as RB10. Kyron, I have as RB12. So Bijan, by far and away, will be number one there. Will be number one. But let me refresh this so we can keep on bringing up questions. Our next question will be coming out from Harrison. And as I do this, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, you will get a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for Thursday night. And since it's our birthday today, Underdog's hooking up everybody who's used promo code FLOCK or uses promo code FLOCK with a Justin Herbert special pick'em on Monday as well. More than less than half a total yard. Please make sure you're taking advantage of that. Super happy we're able to get y'all all of it. But next question coming out from Harrison says, trade Mostert for Amari. Up to you. I don't want to be telling people to sell Mostert even if Jeff Wilson Jr. is coming back with HN out. Daddy Nuggs says, which side, Walker and DJ Moore or Amadre Nico long-term? Walker and DJ Moore. Amadre's literally in the worst offense in the NFL, or one of them. Like, the Patriots do not look like an NFL team at the moment. Jack Stone says, 14-team PBR format. We have Mahomes, Brees, Wilson, Saquon, Chase, Hawkinson, Reed, Sutton, Jonnu. What should we do with Saquon? Trade for more depth. Saquon for Puka and James Cook. I mean, we have enough depth, right? It's not like we just dealt with the injury to Justin Jefferson. We have an elite level quarterback. We only have to roster two of these guys. We have the great tight end as well. Honestly, I think we hold on to Saquon. If you are selling Saquon right now, you're going to be selling at an incredibly low price tag. Definitely, I am very worried about the Saquon Barkley situation with the New York Giants here. But still at the same time, I don't necessarily know if that's like a price point where it does make sense. Now, Clubby coming out says 12-team PBR single flex 3-2. We have Fields, CMC, Pollard, Smith, Evans, TJ, Kyron. And then on the bench, we have Dylan, Gus, KJ. We have an offer of Pollard for JT, Zach Moss, and Ridley. Should we accept? Single flex format. Typically, I want the best player in the deal. I'd say Pollard's probably the best player in the deal, but JT and Ridley's a considerable amount. Very fair deal. Very fair deal. I think it's up to you in a one flex format. Patrick says 2 and 3 PBR. Jefferson for Walker and McLaurin. No running back one at the moment. Be completely fine if you wanted to make this trade. If you look at where we have Justin Jefferson versus Kenneth Walker in our rest of season rankings, I do have Kenneth Walker ahead of Justin Jefferson at this point. Wayne Scott says, happy birthday, Mason. How PBR are we starting, Moss or JT? I'm going to go JT over Moss this week. We'd have him much closer in our rankings, though. Now, Drew coming out saying, 12-team PBR single flex. I'm 4-1, most points for, least against. Good defense. I was offered CeeDee Lamb for Achane and Amari Cooper. My running backs are Achane, Gibbs, Montgomery, Moss. My receivers are Hill, Puka, Amari. Single flex format, I'm okay if you wanted to do it, but at the same time, I mean, you're 4-1, so HN does have the long-term upside. I think it's a very fair deal, and I do think it's going to be up to you one way or another. Okay. Now, Derek says, I traded Chase for Eckler, Akers, JSN before Chase went off. I still think it's not a bad deal. We have Diggs, Ridley. Running backs are Stevenson, Rashad White. Yeah, especially if we didn't have the running back depth here, you probably had to go out there and get Eckler. I mean, Eckler threw his bye already. Austin Eckler's about to crush. Lager Niner says 12-team at BBR. 4-point passing touchdown. Deep bench. Currently have Stafford, Kupp stacked up. Keep stashing Love on the bench or drop for Haller Baker. Happy birthday, bro. Thank you, my man. I mean, honestly, it is up to you with whoever you think has more long-term upside. If Stafford's our QB1, I definitely agree. We probably want to go ahead. We probably want to be rostering 2 quarterbacks every single week and then just playing between the matchups. I think Jordan Love is droppable if you really wanted to, but honestly, if you weren't going to play any of these quarterbacks this week over Stafford, then maybe you want to keep Love for long-term upside. I think they're all about in the same range. Jaggy says 18 PBR, 1-4. We have Fields, Jacobs, Etienne, Cup, Puka, Ayuk, Evans, Devonta Ferguson. Any advice? I've been struggling at tight end. Should we trade Evans for Ingram and Watson? I'm fine with this being an 8-team league. I mean, ultimately, just wide receiver depth really is not going to move the needle here. So, yeah, I would trade Mike Evans for Evan Ingram and Christian Watson. I'd rather get a better tight end, of course, but still. Colin says, trade Jefferson, Anthony Richardson, Ferguson for AJ and Hawkinson. Yes, I would do this. If you need production now, let's sell Jefferson and Anthony Richardson for AJ Brown and TJ Hawkinson. Ryan says, 12-team full BBR. We have Richardson, Stafford, Bijan, Swift, Puka, Hopkins, Hawkinson, Kirk in the flex. The bench, we have Watson, Dell, Algier, Gainwell, Hunt, Jeff Wilson Jr. So we have Stafford to play in the short term. We have the long-term upside of Richardson. I think it's a very well-balanced team, especially as we go down to the bench. I mean, you have the elite level quarterback. Christian Kirk was someone I was saying to sell high on before coming into this past week, but now you're in a spot where, I mean, he shows that he's going to be in 2 wide receiver sets, even with the healthy Zay Jones. So actually, I'd probably hold on to the team. Probably keep it as is. Andrew says, 12-team PBR, 1-4. We have Hurts, Pierce, Sanders, Higgins, Ayuk, Kelsey, London. And then on the bench, we have Moss, Boyd, Samuel, Gibson, Burks. Looking to trade Kelsey. What can we ask for in return? Happy birthday. Thank you so much, my man. If we are selling Kelsey, I want Austin Eckler. If we're selling Kelsey, I want Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley. In a single flex format, if you are a 2 wide receiver single flex, you need to be getting a player we are really excited about in return. Now, with that being said, 9 times out of 10, I don't recommend selling Travis Kelsey. I do think in this instance, it probably does make sense, though. Now, our next question coming out from V says, do you prefer Tua or Fields rest of season? 4-point passing touchdown format. Typically, you prefer the quarterback with rushing upside. I still go Tua, though. Brian says, Madison for Rachaad White. We have Pierce, Warren, and Edwards. I'd rather have Rachaad White in a full BBR format. He's getting everything in his backfield. Cogent says, 10-team BBR. We have Mahomes, Bijan, Pollard, Keenan, Ridley, Goddard. And then on the bench, we have Watson, Flowers, Stroud, Ferguson, Hunt. Would you trade Stroud, Barkley, Goddard, Flowers for Andrews, Ayuk, and Addison? Barkley is the best player on your side versus Andrews being the best player on the other. Give me Barkley. Goddard versus Addison. Give me Addison. Stroud versus Ayuk. Give me Ayuk. This is a deal you make if you are panicking about Saquon Barkley. And I'm not going to fault you at all if you want to panic about Saquon Barkley. I mean, this is a running back that obviously is playing in one of the worst offenses in the NFL, behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. He's dealing with an ankle injury. This team has no reason to try to compete right now. So if you are very much concerned about those red flags with Saquon, I am fine, especially as we have the other top end running backs with this team, to go out there and make that deal. Now, with that being said, I still think Saquon Barkley is the best player in the trade. Typically in a 10-team league, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. I don't want to be trading away the best guy, but I think it would potentially make some sense here. Timmy says, happy birthday. Rate the 12-team PPR super flex team where we have Lamar, Hopkins, Terry, Bijan, Eckler, Kittle, Elijah, Watson. The bench also has Dotson, Johnston, Gibbs, and Hunter Henry. So much better now that we have Eckler. I'm assuming that we've been getting crushed with this team with no Austin Eckler. No Austin Eckler, you are in a very, very tough spot here. Austin Eckler back in. Slides everybody else down. I like it. I mean, I want to say let's go trade for a better quarterback too, but ultimately at the end of the day, if we have Elijah Moore in our starting lineup, like we can't afford to go out there and get a better QB2, right? So probably in a spot where you can't really make any moves since we have no depth with the team. And it'll be much, much better now that we have Eckler back. The team was probably trash with no Austin Eckler. Okay. Now, Keller says 1-4 single flex league. We have Bijan, Montgomery, Hall, Warren, Waddle, Debo, Nico, Pickens, Wilson, Kelsey. Got Jefferson for Ingram, Lawrence. Wait, you traded Evan Ingram for Justin Jefferson. Phenomenal deal. I think the next thing we do is on a 1-4 team, look to flip Jefferson and go get someone that's significantly higher than Ingram. We've been seeing people go through and trade like Justin Jefferson for Cooper Kupp, which would be like an absolute no-brainer if you can get someone in that range. Go get St. Brown. Go get, A.J. Brown. Go get Cooper Kupp. Especially on a 1-4 team where we need production now. Any other trades we're really going to make? I mean, if we sold our tight end, I think like Nico Collins, George Pickens, if we could package them together and go get to the Andrews Hawkinson tier, I think that'd be interesting. Too Rich says, my commission is Diggs, Jefferson, Adams, Jacobs because of trades. So your commission is a good fantasy football player, my man. Tellian says, 12-team BBR 2 and 3. We have Tua, Bijan, Hall, Diggs, Waddle, Addison, Andrews, JT, Moss, Judy, London, Johnson, Hubbard, Warren. Got offered Lamar, Pollard for Tua, Waddle, Addison, London. Do I wait or make moves? Okay, so Tua to Lamar, give me Lamar. Waddle to Pollard, give me Pollard. We're paying Addison and London to get it done. It depends on the starting lineup requirements for this league. If this is a league where we start, say, 2 wide receivers and 2 flexes, or 3 wide receivers and 1 flex, there when we can start 4 wide receivers on a week-to-week perspective, we probably want to be keeping as is, or honestly, it will be up to you. However, with that being said, if this is instead a league where maybe you only start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, then you probably want to go out there and you want to get the 2 best players in this trade. So it really does depend on your overall league settings. Now, Wyatt says, happy birthday, 18 full BBR. Burrow, Jacobs, Madison, Diggs, St. Brown, Higgins, Hawkinson. On the bench, we have Etienne, Moss, Addison, Hollywood, Gainwell, Dell. Think we need a running back too. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I agree. I think we need a running back too in an 8-team league. I think we go through and take Jordan Addison, someone that's pretty damn exciting right now. But go send Addison and Alexander Madison and get the best running back that we can in that 8-team format in particular. Sparrow says, do we trade Puka and White for Jefferson and Sanders? Thanks and happy birthday. Thank you, my man. And if you want to think long-term, yeah, I would rather have Jefferson over Puka rest of season. And if you needed Rachaad White, then maybe not. But if you're like 4-1, 3-2, I'm fine with that deal. And let me know in the live chat, am I crazy? Who would y'all rather have rest of season? Puka or Justin Jefferson? Puka or Justin Jefferson? Let me know in the live chat. XDS says, go to team. Happy to see you out in the live stream, my man. I have to make a trade, though. Multiple offers, sent 6 so far. 1 flex. See, Jefferson. Depends on the record. Jefferson, Puka. Jefferson. I think James has the right answer. Depending on your record / Jefferson. I'm right there with you. Obviously, taking on a lot of risk, but taking on a lot of upside. But Hurts, Fields, Burrow, if it's a 1 QB league. Yeah, we got to be trading a quarterback here, my man. Kyron, Gibbs, H.N., Jefferson, Wilson, Ridley, DJ Moore, Addison, Flowers, Laporta. The trade is we go through and we take Joe Burrow and we send him with Devon H.N., get the best running back we can. We take Justin Fields and DJ Moore and go send him get an elite level wide receiver. Go get Davante Adams, Like that's the move that we are looking to make. I'm assuming that's what you're already sending out. And yeah, this team has a ton of trade value. Now, Mike Chills says, Lawrence, Chase, Ridley, Bijan, Montgomery, Andrews, Addison. On the bench, we have H.N., Watson, Ford, Judy. Any advice 2 and 3, full BBR single flex. Traded a lot for this squad. I'm trying to think, my friend. I think you have a really good team. It's a very well-balanced team as well. I don't necessarily see too many trades that make sense. I think we're honestly just going to sit on our hands. If we had Achane back in, then we can afford to upgrade a quarterback, but I think we have to wait till Achane comes back in to do it. Great team. Known Killer says, Diggs and Hopkins for Adams and Montgomery. I would rather have Adams and Montgomery. Birdie says, should we trade Jefferson 3-2 and A.J. Brown's my wide receiver 2? 3-2, I mean, you have some flexibility. If you can go get to someone like Cooper Kupp, then sure, let's go ahead and do it. But obviously, we do want a nice price point if we are going to be trading away Jefferson. If you're 1-4 or if you're 0-5, you trade him for literally anything you can get. But there, I think you actually have a little bit more power in this scenario. Now, Evan says, 12-team PPR, I trade Cousins and Andrews for Ridley, Henry, Moss, and Mahomes. Yes, let's go ahead. Let's get Mahomes and Calvin Ridley there, my man. Christopher says, 12-team Superflex, Love, Goff, Bijan, Pacheco, Algier, Lamb, Amari, Higgins, Watson, Zay. Want to trade Watson for Brian Robinson. We lost Rodgers. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Honestly, when we have Goff, we're going to be fine. I mean, we're great at running back. If you wanted to send Christian Watson for Brian Robinson, sure, you do you. I mean, ultimately, actually, I guess in Superflex, never mind. We're not chilling. I think that, yeah, actually instead, if we could go through and send for a viable QB3, like send Christian Watson and go get like Baker Mayfield or even Sam Howell, just literally any QB3 that we can start based off matchup or maybe over like a Jordan Love when Jordan Love's on bye, right? I think that would be a more appealing deal to make. I know you're not going to get some great quarterback in return, but just getting like Baker Mayfield, getting a startable player. Miguel says 12-team PPR. We have Burrow, Fields, Waddle, Higgins, Dotson, Elijah, Wilson, Brian Robinson, Bijan, Montgomery, Kamara, Kelsey, Musgrave. Any trades for the team? We are looking to upgrade wide receiver. When we have Burrow and Fields, let's go through. Let's send Justin Fields and one of these wide receivers. Let's send Fields and Jahan Dotson, and let's go get a wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb that we can start every week. Let's go get Smith. Let's go get Waddle. Let's go get Olave. I do think that Burrow will be startable going forward based off what we saw this past week. Steve says bench is Ayuk and Debo against the Browns, the flex Myers. I'd probably rather play Ayuk over Myers, even if Myers has been crushing. Dean Dog says 12-team PPR, 3 receivers, 1 flex, 2 and 3. St. Brown, Javonte, Slant Boy for Waddle, Cooper, Gibbs. Amon-Ra to Waddle downgrade. I don't know if Amari and Gibbs is enough for it in a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. I'm trying to trade Gibbs. Oh, you're going to get Amon-Ra St. Brown? I think it's a really good price point. Let's go get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's get the best player in the deal. And yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he's going to be good to go this week, my friend. Now, Isaiah says, Puka Waddle for Chase Flowers. He lost Jefferson. Thank you. No, thank you, my man. And yeah, let's go get Chase and Flowers. It's going to be an easy call there. Basil says, Waller, Ramondre for Laporta and Terry. I mean, up to you. At this point, Ramondre's not startable and Laporta's crushing. Cooper says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you. PBR double flex trade Sanders, Brian Robinson for JT and some fab. Yeah, I'd get JT straight up. I don't even care about the fab. Benjamin coming out says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you so much, my man. Really, really appreciate it. Lewis says, my running backs this year, Chubb, Connor, and Herbert, had to make a move. Just traded Jacoby for Pierce and Pittman for White. What do you think? I'm stacked at receiver with Chase, Keenan, Ridley, Dell. I'm 4-1. I don't love the price point that you got, but ultimately, it's not your fault. It's not your choice. If you lose Chubb, James Conner, and Khalil Herbert, what else are you supposed to do, you know? The waiver wire can only get you so far. If you weren't lucky enough to hit on Kyron Williams, are at this point just grasping for anything. Booyah says, I already have Derrick Henry, Etienne, Montgomery, but I have the first priority on waivers. And do we go Zach Moss? Okay, so we'll go with the starting running back in Arizona. It may be Ingram. I don't know, but I mean, still we can go out there and we can see. And the thing is, he does have some flip appeal, right? Because if he goes out there and produces, you could possibly flip him to the James Conner team with Conner being on the IR. Like, we know Conner's at least out 4 weeks. Elias says, should we trade Keenan and Warren for Pollard and Devonta Smith? Hell yes, go get Pollard and Smith there. And I love Keenan with no Williams. Aaron says, hey, Mace, would you trade White for Hopkins? Probably not. Probably keep Rashad White. Logan says, I'm first on waivers. Who should we pick up? Full BBR Flex League. Options are Moss, Osborne, DeRicardo. And would you rather have Waddle or Montgomery? One Flex League, not going to fault you if you wanted to go Montgomery. Can you all spam the chat? Who would you rather have off the waiver wire? Would you rather have Moss or DeRicardo? Moss or DeRicardo? You can just say Dim for short. Type Dim for short if you don't want to type it out. Moss or Dim. One vote for Dim. One vote for Moss. 2 votes for Moss. 1 vote for Dim. Moss, Dim, Moss. Dim, Moss. Moss, Moss, Moss. Close. Moss. I don't think he's actually any good, my man. I don't think he's good at all. I think Keontae Ingram may end up being the guy. But the thing is, if we for sure have no... If you for sure have no James Conner, I don't know. Now, Michael coming out saying 8-team full BBR league, 3-2. We have Lamar, Fields, Jacobs, Mostert, Montgomery, Kyron, Puka, Kupp, Ridley, DK, Jameson, Kelsey, and Hunter Henry. I was offered Stevenson and Smith for Kyron. Is this a good deal? And it's a fine value. Like, if you put in a trade calculator, it would definitely tell you you're winning. The issue is if it's an 8-team league, like, we're going to have to go through and drop someone. Who do you drop? I guess you drop Tank Dell. Who cares? Or drop Hunter Henry. Who cares? Yeah, so I think it's a good deal. You can go ahead and make that play. Jacob says, Mason, my man, I have Jefferson and Connor. HN out. Lineup is Burrow, JT, Kamara, Evans, Ridley, Goddard, Addison. Honestly, great team. Great team. Just wait till we get these guys back in. I mean, you already had to deal with no JT and Alvin Kamara at the beginning of the season. So if you made it through that, I think you'll be able to make it through this. But Brandon coming out says, we have Lamar, Madison, Jacobs, Adams, Sutton, Dotson, Andrews. We need a receiver. Should we trade Andrews and Sutton for Ayuk, Waller, and Dell? Sutton to Dell, who cares? Andrews to Ayuk and Waller. I think it's a fine move if you wanted to do it. Obviously, it's just hard with how bad this New York Giants offense is. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 1 like away from hitting 1,500 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. We've been live for almost 4 hours. This is what we're doing on my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings. A Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. And a Justin Herbert special pick'em on top of it, since it's our birthday this week, later in the week. More than less than half a total yard for Justin Herbert. But Trey says Godwin Lockett for Mixon. Godwin Lockett Mixon for Gibbs and Montgomery. Mixon and Montgomery, probably Montgomery. Godwin Lockett for Gibbs. I'd probably go Mixon side. If Burrow's healthier, I think you maybe want Mixon. Alex says 10-team BBR, 4-1. We have Lawrence Diggs, DJ Pollard, Jacobs, Andrews, Montgomery, DK, Ayuk, Warren, Watson, Rice. Do we trade Ayuk, DJ, Warren for Jefferson? I don't know if we can give up 3 players to trade for another guy who's not going to be playing right now. We essentially just automatically lose 3 starters like that on our team. If we can hold on to one guy, then maybe, yes. We can hold on at least one player. Now, Mahindra says, use the middle name. Dudar, I believe, if that's what you're saying. Oh, use the middle name Chris. Okay, I apologize. Chris. All right. 12-team at BBR, 6-point passing touchdown. A little too late for that, so I apologize. Anthony Richardson, Saquon, JT, Keenan, Chase, Olave, Addison, Olave, Waller, Quentin, Roshan. Should we trade Barkley and Allen for Mixon and Pittman? And Jalen Hurts. Okay. 1 and 4. Or Barkley and Allen for Bijan plus. I wouldn't do Allen. If you want to do Barkley and Olave for Bijan plus, I think that would make a lot of sense. You wouldn't even need a lot in return if we were going to pivot from Barkley to Bijan with how bad the Giants' offensive line is. But sending Barkley and Allen for Mixon and Pittman, I think you're getting a massive downgrade there. I mean, Allen just has so much more value than that. Like, you should be excited about Allen. Prometheus says, 10-team PBR, 3-2. We have Patrick Mahomes, Jacobs, Montgomery, Jefferson, Watson, Conklin, Davis, JT, scared of the injury to Jefferson. Trade or hold out. I mean, obviously, you can throw him on the trade block. It just depends on the price point. If you can get Kupp, get A.J. Brown, get St. Brown, then sure, go do it. But, like, should you I saw someone in the chat trade Hollywood Brown for Justin Jefferson. Do you want to be the guy trading Hollywood Brown for Jefferson? Hell no. Wyatt said, would you trade HN for Pacheco before Thursday? Probably not. Probably not. Obviously, I mean, Pacheco's going to crush on Thursday given the matchup, but still. Max coming out. Thank you, my man. 5-0. Congrats. It's a single flex. Should we trade Montgomery for Devonta Smith and Javonte or Roshan? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Probably in a single flex league, Montgomery has more value than this. Probably want to be holding on to Montgomery here. Now, Rada Gas says, happy birthday. Traded Chase for Smith before his monster game. Also have Olave, Andrew Stevenson for Brian Robinson, Gabe Davis, Khalil Herbert. What are your thoughts? I think horrible trade, of course. With the first one. Second deal, great. Brian Robinson, Gabe Davis, Khalil Herbert to Olave, Andrew Stevenson's phenomenal. But yeah, if we can go back in the time machine and get back Jamar Chase, it'd be an absolute no-brainer. Frank the Tank says Zay Flowers or Mostert. I will go Mostert over Zay Flowers, my friend. I mean, with no HN, you have to be excited about Mostert, even if Jeff Wilson Jr. is back in. Now, Oliver coming out saying, 3-2, happy BR, 10-team league. I lost Richardson and Jefferson this week. We have Burrow, A.J. Brown, Kupp, Pollard, Williams, Kelsey, Allen. On the bench, we have Cook, Puka, Goddard, Jefferson, HN, and Richardson. You're fine. We're not doing anything. Like, if you're telling me that we have still on our bench Puka, then we have more than enough wide receiver depth. And this is the kind of team where you want to go ahead and you want to ride it out. You have the upside for the long term here, my friend, with Jefferson. And you don't need that short-term production based off our bench. Christopher says, would you pick up Myers, Downs, or KJ? We're going to go Myers, my man. Definitely Myers over those guys. Wombly says traded St. Brown and Sanders for Jefferson yesterday. Full BBR 12-team league. We have Fields, Hill, Moore, Swift, Jefferson, Pitts, Komet. Did I throw? I think you probably sent a little bit too much value. I think yesterday probably would have been the right call to make the move, though. With the off chance that Jefferson maybe only missed 1 to 2 weeks, I think you probably had to make that deal. Obviously, now that we know the man is on the IR, it is much tougher to go through and justify the trade now, that is. Now, Max coming out saying 10-team PPR single flex, 3-2. We have Cousins, Saquon, Pollard, AJ, Ayuk, Andrews, Ridley, JT, Lawrence, Addison, HN, Jameson, Javonte, Rice. Any trade suggestions? Great team. We have a lot of depth here. Where if you wanted to see if we could go through and possibly send, say, the combo of Jordan Addison and Kirk Cousins to get to an elite level QB, I think that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, it is tough losing out on a few of these names at the same time, right? Like Saquon's still dealing with an injury, but I mean, long term, this team should be fine. Trent says, Gabe Davis to get Rashad White, good or no? Yes, I would. If we need a running back. I mean, running back trouble, yes, Rashad White's an upgrade over Alexander Madison. Gabe Davis has been crushing so far this season, though. Robert says, Saquon and Waddle for Walker and Brees. Saquon or Brees, I've ranked back-to-back. I would clearly rather have Walker over Waddle, though, so we're going to go Walker and Brees. Sir Dredgen says, happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Any moves or olds? 12-team at BBR format. We have Allen, Eckler, Etienne, Lamb, Ridley, Olave, Waller, and then on the bench, White, Addison, Ferguson, Downs, Zach. Great roster construction, top to bottom. We have the guys at the top end that we really like, and we have some depth here as well. We don't have too much depth either. Great team. Love to see it. 4-1 for a reason. I think we're sitting still. Steven says, him, Joe, Barkley, White, Henry, Debo, Pickens. Me, Fields, Stevenson, Jaleel, Warren, Chase, Amon-Ra, DJ. He said Joe and White for Fields, DJ. I said no. He asked what I want. Any counter ideas? Okay. Love the question. Yeah, Joe and White for Fields and DJ is horrendous. I mean, Fields has more value than Burrow right now. DJ Moore has more value than Rachaad White right now. If you want to go Fields and DJ for Joe and Barkley, let's send it. Get Derrick Henry over White, let's send it. But yeah, no, Rachaad White, no. I mean, you'd be giving up way too much value. Now, Mahindra says, also Hurts with Pittman and Mixon. Anthony Richardson down, no quarterback. If you have no quarterback to pick up off the waiver wire, I would trade Joe Mixon and Michael Pittman for Jalen Hurts. No Mids Golf says $100 I have HN. How much bid for Amari? 12-team at BBR form. I think you would go ahead. I think you would probably put down about what? 50% of whatever. I don't even want, I can't go that aggressive because Keontae Ingram may be the guy. We don't know. I wouldn't go with that aggressive. I mean, even if we need a win right now, just because you don't know who you're picking up, I'm going to go 25%. I don't even think the player's worth 25%. I just think if you're 1-4. Mr. Blackbearder says, my Hollywood, Gibson, Jefferson for a Smith, Dotson, Connor, Deontay. Jefferson to Smith, downgrade, even with the injury. Hollywood to Dotson, downgrade. Gibson to Connor, who cares? We pick up Deontay Johnson. 14-team league where obviously, I mean, it's harder to find players to get in the starting lineup right now. I understand maybe why you'd be a little bit more willing to do this in a 14-team league rather than a 10-team league, but still, I don't think it makes sense. I want it. But thank you so much for being a long-time member of the flock. You know I appreciate you, my man. And Jacob says, 10-team PBR 1-3. We have Hurts, Barkley, JT, AJ, Ridley, Ingram, Myers. And then on the bench, we have Cook, Gibbs, Palmer, Downs, Spears, Deontay. Just traded Godwin in the Hall for AJ. Should we look to upgrade more? Great deal there. I mean, I think in terms of any other trades, we don't really have that much depth now. Gibbs isn't startable, so really our only depth, we have Myers and James Cook fighting for that flex spot. So in reality, from this point, we're probably just going to be sitting on our hands. I think we probably do just ride it out from here. Yeah. And love the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts stack in particular. Jaggy says 18 PBR traded Lamb for Brian Robinson and Lockett. I do not like that. I think it's a very bad deal in an 18 league. If it's Brian Robinson, not Bijan Robinson, you definitely wanted to have CeeDee Lamb. Moses says got offered Kyron for Addison and Ford. Give me Kyron. Was wondering what you think. Double flex. I'm 5-0. Want to start preparing for the long term. Yeah, I mean, Kyron Williams just getting every single snap, getting every single touch. Even if he's not a great running back, just super viable in fantasy. Ruben says, full BBR 12-team league. I'm 3-2. Would you trade Jefferson for Ford, Higgins, and Lockett? No, we would not. I know you may need, I'm looking at your team. You may need production in right now, my man, but still, you're just not getting nearly enough value. You're selling all the long-term upside here. Now, Radagast says, definitely meant I traded Devonta Smith for Jamar. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. I apologize. I can't read, my man. We have Burrows, Saquon, Ramondre, Chase, St. Brown, Andrews a lot. Beautiful. As long as Saquon's healthy, as long as Burrow is healthy, this team's going to crush. Obviously, we're going to be churning the bottom of that team. We want to see if we can find a long-term viable running back to play over like Ramondre Stevenson. And see if we can find the next Karen Williams to replace Stevenson with, but that's a great spot. Gabriel says, happy birthday, help. Any moves? 10-team, 1 flex, currently 3-2. We have Allen, Pollard, Pacheco, JT, Brees, Chase, Amari, Kirk, Myers, Watson, Njoku, and Ertz. Ton of running back depth. I mean, after this week, after you have Isaiah Pacheco embarrassing the Denver Broncos defense on Thursday night, then at that point, if you wanted to take Pacheco and say Amari Cooper or Christian Kirk and go get a stud receiver, let's do it. Okay. Now, Deeb says 12-team BBR traded DJ Moore, Brian Robinson for Jefferson and Walker. We have Geno, Walker, Ramondre, White, Ford, Hill, Amon-Ra, Jefferson, Collins. think it makes a lot of sense. Give me Walker over DJ Moore, Brian Robinson versus Justin Jefferson. Easily give me Justin Jefferson. So, yeah, I love that move, my man. Now, Wombly, I do not have your previous question. Dear God, can I find it on this screen? I hope we do not. I'm very sorry, my friend. I hope we did give you any advice with moves to make. But Batman Gaming says, Happy BR, would you trade Hill for A.J. Brown and Darren Waller? I wouldn't. I mean, I think Darren Waller's in a bad enough offense where we can say that he just doesn't move the needle here for us. Like, Tyreek Hill is so far ahead of what we have with A.J. Brown. Alan says, trade Barkley. I know Brown has crushed as of late, but you are going to have Smith seeing more later on. Trade Barkley and Flowers for Purdy and Swift. Barkley. No, I'd rather have a Barkley and Flowers. Crispy says, happy birthday. You reviewed my team in Discord. 5-0. We have Jefferson and Amon-Ra and a 2-quarterback double flex. 0.3 points per yard. Should I look to trade one or hold? You're going to hold. Amon-Ra St. Brown will come back. My man, really appreciate you. And yeah, with Justin Jefferson, that's a wide receiver that on a 5-0 team, you probably want to keep the long-term upside. Adrian, always happy to see him. My man says 8-team league, double flex, 4-1. Herbert, Bijan, Swift, Mixon, HN, Charbonnet, Diggs, Chase, Lamb, Jameson, Watson, Goddard. Any changes? Not necessarily. We lose HN, but we have the elite level wide receivers at the very top. We have upside on the team as well. We have Herbert coming back in. Immaculate team. Love the spot. I love the spot that you're in. Love it. But I think that should be it, ladies and gentlemen. Probably going to be cutting the live stream here. We've been live for about 4 hours. So if you have not done so already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, going and signing up to Underdog would be the #1 way that you could get me a birthday present this year. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, plus you are going to be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em for Thursday night, more than less than half a total passing yard, and a Justin Herbert special pick'em as well. 2 special pick'ems the same week. Underdog hooked us up for our birthday, so please make sure you go sign up, use promo code FLOCK, take advantage of this. Super happy we're able to get it for y'all. But thank you again. I really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day, and really hope we get to see you out in the live stream tomorrow.